Big money. Every active Winston Cup champion will get his turn tonight as one of Stock Car Racing's 10 best. But the big ending will have this man in the spotlight. Speed Week is next. From the ballroom of the Waldorf Astoria in Midtown Manhattan, it's NASCAR's night in the Big Apple. And we welcome you to this special edition of Speed Week. Good evening, everybody. I'm Bob Jenkins, and it is a special night here as the drivers who have competed in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series will get their paychecks tonight and get the respect that they deserve for their performances in 1994. We will have that at 9 o'clock live here on ESPN, and we urge you to stay with us because, among other things, a very special tribute to our champion, seven-time champion now, Dale Earnhardt. Well, the favorite penguin of NASCAR racing. No, I'm going to show you more respect tonight. Benny Parsons, former champion, is with me, and boy, it seems like it was just yesterday that we gathered in Daytona to start this thing, and we're wrapping it up tonight.
It was only 10 months ago, but so much is happening in those 10 months.
And, of course, Dale Earnhardt is the man of the night.
7 times he's won the Winston Cup Championship, tying a record. And, you know, 6 of those championships have been with Richard Childress. It looks like that Dale Earnhardt and Richard Childress have really formed a very special relationship.
Richard Childress, I tell you, that's really our strong suit. Richard Childress and myself as friends and driver, car owner situation is really great. I think he's been a planner, an innovator in the sport. Since the day he got out of the race car and put me in, and I started driving, and then Rudd drove for him for 2 years, and I got back with him in '84. He's just always looked ahead and tried to plan for the future.
I can think back to when we won our first championship together, how we both just looked at each other and winked, and there was something special. Neither one of us said anything, but we just winked at each other, and we knew then that we had something special, and from that time on, it's just been history.
We always have sort of seen eye to eye on our objectives and our goals of where we want to go in racing and what we want to accomplish.
First thing that's popping in my mind would be winning the Daytona 500.
We never won the Daytona 500 together, and maybe we'll do that before it's over with, but winning these championships, I think, is the things that I remember most in the stories about, as I could just start and just talk about them forever, really.
Very few times that either one of us have just moments together alone, and I guess a good story was a year ago we were sitting on a mountain out in New Mexico, and we were sitting there splitting a can of Vienna sausages and a pack of crackers, and about 11,000 feet, and he looks over and he says, I wonder how many car owners and drivers are sitting here enjoying something like this. And we were looking over the most beautiful country, and we sat there and talked a while, and that was something real special to both of us.
I think he's just an all-around planner, owner, promoter. He works the guys well. He's always got a good group of guys working with him. Someone in the wings that can take over, someone's hurt, sick, or, changes jobs. And it's just always worked well. He's a great guy to work with.
If I would pick one thing I've learned from Dale Earnhardt, is he's a true human being, and he has a lot of respect for his family, a lot of respect for life and everything around him. I guess that would be the one thing that I've learned about Dale Earnhardt.
Benny, I got a question. It seems the trend is to own your own team. I mean, Ricky Rudd has his own team, Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Bodine. Why doesn't Dale Earnhardt have his own team so that he can make the money that he has to give to Childress?
Bob, he has won 6 championships with Richard Childress. Now, maybe he could have won 7 with Dale Earnhardt owning the car, but maybe he couldn't have won 1. He's won 6 championships. There's no point in going someplace just for money.
Guess you better leave well enough alone.
Exactly.
Huh? Well, one of the guys who has been with us on our Saturday telecast of auto racing here on ESPN will be with us during the Banquet, and he is with us on Speed Week. Kyle Petty has a special guest down below.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here. I'm standing here with Rusty Wallace, who, hey, you switched from Pontiacs last year. You won 10 races. You switched to Fords this year. You won 8 races. Another great year. I think that shows what the Penske team can do no matter what you're driving.
Well, I think you know as well as I do, it's the people that make it happen. And if you can keep your whole crew together and keep them happy, keep them pulling in one direction, the cars are important, no doubt about it. But I was a little concerned about changing from Pontiac to Ford with all the success we've had. But it proved again that the people made it all happen. And those 8 victories, it was a great deal for the Penske team.
Well, now you've had some changes over the winter here. We found out, I guess, 4 or 5 races ago that Buddy Parrott was leaving. Now you've got Robin Pemberton, who started the season with me, went with Ted Musgrave during the center of the year. Now he's going to be with you next year. You looking forward to that?
Well, I thought he did a good job with you. I really did. I thought he did a great job. Your 92 season, I thought was stellar. It was wonderful. And sometimes, you know, you look about what happened. It's hard to pinpoint what happened, how everything went down. It's coming back up for you with Barry Dodson on your team right now. But Robin's a good guy, and I think he's got great leadership capabilities. Really meshing real well with the team right now. And with all the bugs worked out that we found last year in the Ford Thunderbird, and with the real hungry crew chief on board right now, I think it's going to be a winning combination.
Well, we know they've got a great team. Let's see if they can sing, Bob.
Well, that's right. Throughout the evening, members of the NASCAR family are going to be wishing you happy holidays for 1994, and this is how the Penske South team wishes to express their sentiments of the holiday season.
All right, guys, let's hit it.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Let one mocktail ring, making spirits bright. Oh, it is to ride and sing a sleigh song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
New car, huh?
Yeah.
Nothing's too good for it, right?
Right.
So that's why you're going to Jiffy Lube and ask for Pennzoil.
Jiffy Lube?
Yeah. Jiffy Lube service with Pennzoil meets all the requirements of your warranty, just like the dealer. But there's one big difference.
What's that?
You don't need an appointment.
Hey!
Jiffy Lube, America's favorite oil change. For new cars, too. Remember to bring your car to Jiffy Lube every 3,000 miles.
Run, Dancer, run, Prancer. Nice steer. What was that?
Santa, get with the program. It's Domino's new Buffalo Wings. Now, when you call for your favorite Domino's pizza, you can get a full order of tangy chicken wings for just $3.99. Beats milk and cookies.
Domino's Buffalo Wings.
In Normal, Illinois, Gene Goebel is popular with folks who need their car fixed. He does good work, and he doesn't charge an arm and a leg. Because when he needs auto parts, Gene buys a lot of them at AutoZone. You see, the prices are low every day at AutoZone. So a lot of good mechanics like Gene just pass the savings on to their customers. Plus, they can still get the best quality parts. Sure, they know how to do the work right, but they also know how to save money doing it at AutoZone.
Never seen anyone do the things that you do. Never known anyone who could hold me like you. Hold me, hold me, hold me, hold me. You've got this hold.
When there's something that needs to be held, there's no faster, easier way than with a quick grip bar clamp. One hand holds things securely yet gently.
Welcome back to Speed Week, live from New York City. Not only is the NASCAR Awards Banquet here at the Waldorf Astoria, but NASCAR has started a relationship with another New York fixture. World-renowned jeweler Tiffany & Company has been commissioned to create rings for both 1994 champion Dale Earnhardt and his wife, Teresa.
Maybe this is the time to bring the best together with the best. The very best in auto racing with Tiffany & Company, the best in its field. Started talking about a design, and really under the cooperation and really under the vision of Betty Jane France, we designed the ring that will be awarded tonight. The ring incorporates the checkered flag, the universal symbol of victory, as well as the speed bar, the symbol of NASCAR. We believe this ring is an important part of the legacy of Tiffany symbols that recognize sports excellence. Tiffany is very proud to have produced the Vince Lombardi Trophy, the NBA Trophy, the Breeders' Cup, the Belmont Cup, World Series ring, Super Bowl ring, and we're excited to welcome this symbol of extraordinary achievement into that long list of extraordinary pieces.
Those rings are just one of many things that Dale and Teresa Earnhardt will get tonight when they go up onto the stage here at the Waldorf Astoria to accept the championship. Well, the news conference yesterday from NASCAR was the first public event here. It's a chance to hand out some awards, also to honor the championship team and to hear about NASCAR.
Awards included the National Motorsports Press Association's most popular driver as voted on by the fans. This year, for a record 9th time, the honor went to Bill Elliott, who salvaged a mediocre season with a win at the Mountain Dew Southern 500 at Darlington.
Sometimes I don't feel like I deserve this, and you know, all these race drivers give it their all each and every week, and every fan has their particular driver. And I've lived a lucky life and been very fortunate to be where I'm at today, and it really surprises me.
The last member of the Busch Clash field at Daytona, February 12th, was selected from the 13 fastest second-day qualifiers this year. Todd Bodine will join 17 Winston Cup pole winners and Busch Grand National champion David Green, but is looking more forward to the entire season.
We have everything it takes to be up front, except for luck. You know, we have to be able to get around that and make our own luck, and we feel like our performance will keep us in the top 10.
The most shocking news came when this year's champion Dale Earnhardt came to the podium to talk about his whirlwind media tour here in New York City.
The most asked question this week was, well, when are you going to retire? So I talked it over with France and Richard. I think I should retire now. I'm a winner from Busch Grand National Racing.
You had me scared there for a while, Dale. Well, earlier today, the awards for the Winston Cup champ continued at the 21 Club. Earnhardt was honored with his second Driver of the Year award, voted on by a panel of national motorsports journalists.
It was a good year for us, and a lot of respect for little Al, and I'm honored to beat guys like that, and it's just amazing that you can go through your career and do things and win championships and get awards like this.
Meanwhile, arriving in a Corvette stretch limousine was the very first Driver of the Year back in 1967. Mario Andretti received the Chrissy Konamaki Lifetime Achievement Award.
Tremendous honor, as I say. I just thought it was all over, and it still keeps coming. So, again, you know, life goes on in a very positive way, and I'm among a lot of friends here, a lot of new and old friends, so great feeling.
One thing great about this weekend, there's always a breakfast or a lunch or a dinner for Benny to go to and to see some more awards handed out. Yesterday, Benny, at that news conference, the Schumann Award was also given out.
And a couple of wonderful people, Bill and Nikki Taylor, awarded the Schumann Award. Could not have happened to nicer folks.
And the Myers Brothers Award, which ESPN won a few years ago, went to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
That was a lock. That was an absolute lock. Folks, last year, the Brickyard 400 had to be the most significant event on the circuit.
Well, let's go down to the floor and talk with our other floor reporter for the night. He's with one of the guys we talked about earlier, an owner-driver in the Winston Cup Series. Jerry?
Thanks, Bob, and hello, everyone. You know, if there were a driver/car owner of the year award, it would have to go to this man to my left, Ricky Rudd. Ricky started a team from scratch in a temporary rented building, ended up one win, a pole, and a top 5 in the points. Congratulations.
Well, Jerry, I tell you, I'm really pleased. It's hard to believe. All these guys on this Tide Ford team worked unbelievably hard. Tide put up the money for us to be able to try to go out there and get the job done, and hopefully we pleased them. But, you know, by all means, we feel like we've had a great year, but we've still got a long ways to go to contend for a Winston Cup championship. But we've been able to do things at an accelerated pace, so maybe we can build up real fast over the winter and be ready to challenge next year in 95.
Well, what are the expectations for 95? You came so far from nothing in 94. I mean, can you be on that stage as the champion next year?
Well, I think we got one part right, the main part, and that's finishing races. Our guys have been able to win all the awards for finishing most miles completed, so they're very good at car preparation. It takes that to win a championship. The next thing it takes is consistently being able to lead laps, run up front. We've been able to do that, but not on the regular basis it takes to win a championship. That's our weakness. We're working on that over the winter. We think our cars are going to be more competitive when we come out in 95. If we're able to do that in the winter and step our performance up, we could very well be a serious contender for the 95 championship, but it's all hinged around if we can come out and run up front a little bit more often.
Folks, when he goes on that stage a little later on tonight, he and Linda will have a nice holiday. They're going to take home a total of a little over $1 million in earnings for 1994. Ricky, congratulations again. Now, talking about Christmas coming early, this guy to my right gave us all a wonderful Christmas present back in August when he beat the odds to come back from a horrific crash at Michigan. And Ernie, it is a pleasure to have you here with me. And what's the status of your health? I mean, you keep getting better and better, I'm told, week after week.
Well, I tell you, my health has really gone really good, and the doctors keep saying it's even more of a miracle because of how fast I've been recovering. And I'll probably be in better shape in about another month than I ever have been.
Well, the word is that he's working out, folks. He's even playing a little racquetball, and with wife Kim and daughter Jordan by his side pushing him, there's a good chance that we might see Ernie Irvan back in a race car very soon, and that indeed is wonderful news. Godspeed on your recovery, Ernie. Let's go back to Bob Jenkins.
It's just about the best Christmas gift that we could possibly want to see Ernie Irvan here with us tonight. And we are at the Waldorf Astoria for the 1994 Winston Cup Awards banquet coming up at 9 o'clock. Here are more holiday greetings from the NASCAR family.
For Christmas this year, I want my team to be happy. I want them to have a joyous Christmas and everybody be happy. But I'll tell you what I do want for next year is right here. 1995 Winston Cup Championship. I want it really, really bad.
I've got a long list, starting with good health for our new baby that's going to be here very soon. A lot of patience from Larry McReynolds and Robert Yates and the crew there that we can get acclimated very quickly, and a speedy return for Ernie Irvan.
Championship winning season with Dale Jarrett and a complete recovery with Ernie Irvan, whether it be in 95 or 1996, and a safe racing season with one tire company.
No more DNFs. You can keep all them DNFs. Give them to somebody else. I want to finish all the races.
With a fiery horse and a hearty hi-ho king, it's the Lone Ranger.
Hey, what is this, a holdup? Of course not. There's never a holdup at Used Car King. You know, even people with no credit get a straight shooting deal. Used Car King is the place to come, and I'm here to back up those deals.
Hi-ho, King, away! Stay tuned for the continuing episodes of The Lone Ranger, brought to you by the Used Car King.
With its high-powered V8 engine, this Lincoln Town Car can get you wherever you're going very quickly indeed. But with an all-new interior that's been completely redesigned to be more accommodating and luxurious than ever, what's your hurry? Unless, of course, you happen to be on your way to your Lincoln dealer. The 1995 Lincoln Town Car, what a luxury car should be.
Join us tomorrow for Louisville, Michigan State and Florida Wake Forest, only on ESPN.
Welcome back, everybody. Anytime you can mix Harley-Davidsons and Winston Cup racing, it's got to be fun. Today I got to go to a place that was a blast. I've had more fun today than I've ever had. Take a look at what I did today. I've been coming to New York for, 8 or 10 years of this NASCAR banquet, and it's been useless every year I come. I hate to come. The only reason I'm coming this year, and the only bright spot of this year, is I bought me 2 new Harleys. So I'm coming to the Harley-Davidson Cafe to check out what they've got inside. Well, here we are. This is the mecca of Harley-Davidson in New York City. It's not a Harley dealership, but they got some great bikes in here. Let's check it out and see what they got. Okay, they've got all kinds of celebrity paraphernalia in here. Guys that own Harleys that are celebrities, women that own Harleys that are celebrities, gold records from the Grateful Dead, great group. But the main man right here, Elvis. If Elvis is alive and anywhere out there, I'm sure he's probably here somewhere today. They've got his record, they've got pictures of him, they've got bikes, they've got everything here. We're looking for Elvis right now. Okay, these are tanks that come from Harley-Davidson. When celebrities come in here, they sign some of these tanks. They've got Neil Diamond signed one, Neil Young signed one, Robin Leach has signed one, like Robin Leach has at Harley, I'm sure, you know what I mean? Peter Fonda, the original god of Harley-Davidson riders. He signed this one. And the main man, John Mellencamp, has signed this one right here. They're all over this place. We're going to go see who else has signed stuff here. Another celebrity tank signed by Meatloaf. This is a sports corner. This is where all the guys that are sports figures that have them. We've got the main man, Jerry Glanville here. Obviously, he drove a race car. He's got Harleys. He's a genius. What can I tell you? The king of jumping right here, Evel Knievel. I saw Evel Knievel jump when I was about 12 or 13 years old. One of the highlights of my life, of everything I've ever done. Watching this man jump was amazing. Let's see, what else we got here? We've got Reggie Jackson, signed some, Stabler, Muhammad Ali, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And if you'll pan way over here, you'll see again, I'm telling you, Elvis is around here somewhere. We're going to find the man before we leave. This is the Harley Owners Group Hall of Fame, one of the most exclusive Harley Owners Groups in the world. Forget the International Motorsports Hall of Fame. This is a group I want to be a part of. There we go. And if you see right here, where's he at? Elvis, if you're out there, please come sign the board.
I think we saw Elvis up here in the upper level a few minutes ago.
Just a moment ago, yeah.
I think so. You haven't ever gotten into Harleys, have you?
No.
I didn't think so.
No, I haven't.
A little too heavy, huh?
A little too heavy.
We're at the Waldorf Astoria in New York City for Speed Week prior to the 1994 NASCAR Winston Cup Banquet. And we will be right back.
If you're looking for a reliable place to service your car or truck, I've got great news for you. It's a Pep Boys Automotive Super Center. No matter what you drive, their ASC certified technicians are here when you need them. Day or night, even on Sunday. Or Rebestus Brakes, TRW rack and pinion repair, diagnostic tune-ups, even air conditioning. For dealer quality service at prices you can afford, come to Pep Boys and drive away happy.
Stay with the flock. Stay with the flock. Stay with the flock. Hey, who's that? Don't be a sheep. Dare to compare Panasonic sound to the other guys.
How does your Genie screwdrive door opener work?
You got this big screw, see? And it's real long, and the thing just turns like that, so the door slides real quiet.
Any mom with a lot of kids could use a Genie.
Genie screwdrive, built for a lifetime.
ESPN Pay-Per-View brings you the most popular sport in the world from the country that holds the World Cup. The Brazilian National Soccer Championship on pay-per-view. December 8th through 18th. Don't miss exclusive coverage of the semifinals and two-match final. For a limited time, you can order all 4 championship matches for one price. Call your cable company to order the Brazilian National Soccer Championship, exclusively on pay-per-view.
Just when you thought you weren't going to fly this holiday season because of too high fares and too few seats, Continental Airlines introduces its big holiday sale. This year, only Santa flies for less.
Welcome back to Speed Week. I'm Bob Jenkins along with Benny Parsons. Let's catch up on a quick news segment here. Lake Speed has signed a 3-year deal with Harry Melling beginning in '95.
And Robin Pemberton has moved over from the 16 to the 2 car as crew chief next year.
Bobby Hamilton will go into Richard Petty's number 43.
And Bill France yesterday at the news conference said something I thought was very interesting. Next year, or when they add the race in California, if they do, that'll make 32 races. After that, they'll add no more races without dropping a race.
That's right. Well, 1994 was filled with triumph and tragedy. And for more on that, let's go back down to the floor. Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you, Bob. It's true. All too often recently, tragedy has tugged at the heartstrings of the NASCAR family, and this week, unfortunately, was no exception. As Tia and Trey Dotson, son and daughter of veteran Winston Cup crew chief Barry Dotson, lost their lives early last week in an automobile accident returning to their home in Darlington, South Carolina. And also a couple of days ago, Evelyn Richmond, mother of the late Tim Richmond, lost her battle with cancer. She passed away and was flown back to Ohio to be buried beside the son she loved so much. So from all of us at ESPN, for Barry Dotson and for Al Richmond, our prayers and deepest sympathies are with you at this time in your hour of grief. Bob?
Thank you very much, Jerry. And, of course, from all of us, as you said, at ESPN, we extend deepest sympathies to the families. More will wrap things up from the Waldorf Astoria and the Winston Cup Awards Banquet here on Speed Week in a moment. Here's a look at our CarQuest racing calendar with events coming up. For all your auto parts needs, you'll find it at CarQuest.
You know, a lot of people who work on their cars will only shop at AutoZone. They depend on us for the best quality parts and low prices every day. They come in, get what they need, and then get back to work. Because you see, they believe if you want the job done right, you do it yourself. Well, at AutoZone, we couldn't agree more. Because when you take the time and the effort to work on your car yourself, you ought to be choosy about where you shop. We just thank you for choosing AutoZone.
Now, an oil made just for your hard-working engine. 4x4 from Quaker State. Off-roading, extreme temperatures, towing and hauling. They all make your light truck or 4x4 work extra hard and could shorten its life. Why settle for a conventional car oil? Get 4x4 from Quaker State. The intelligent oil for hard-working engines. Now, get up to a $1.89 mail-in rebate on a 6-pack case of 4x4. So you buy 5 quarts and get 1 free.
Welcome back to Speed Week from the Waldorf Astoria in Midtown Manhattan. All of us are busy here at ESPN. Even the coordinating producer of auto racing at ESPN has been busy this past week editing a piece on the '94 season.
I'm T. Wayne Robertson, president of sports marketing for the R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company. We're at the Waldorf Astoria in the 1994 NASCAR Awards Banquet. Now let's go racing.
Here they come running side to side as the pace car leaves the track. Earnhardt's got the whole position. Martin's 3 rows back. Rusty goes to the inside when the flag is dropped. Schrader tries the high side, but Rudd makes sure he stops. Hey, let's go racing. Let's hear those engines whine. See who is the fastest, how many are left behind. Who will be the first to lead when the unexpected hits? Hey, let's go racing. Watch them match their wits. Shepard's in behind the leader. Terry Labonte passes in turn 4. Gordon's trying to win this race. Darrell Walton's got it on the floor. 3 across on the straightaway, but Elliott's coming up fast. Here comes the checkered flag. Dale Earnhardt's the winner, and that is that. Yeah, let's go racing. Let's hear those engines whine. See who is the fastest, how many are left behind. Who will be the first to lead when the unexpected hits? Hey, let's go racing. Watch them match their wits. Yeah!
Okay, it hurt bad.
Let's go racing. Let's go racing. Let's go racing. Yeah, let's go racing.
And the season officially ends tonight here at the Waldorf when Dale Earnhardt will be presented the trophy. My thanks to Jerry and Kyle and Benny. Stay with us now. We'll be right back for the banquet. So long, everyone. is an ESPN special presentation.
This is racing's ultimate prize. To compete for it, however, you must be awesome, cagey, savvy, confident, experienced, a pro, consistent, a winner, focused. As for me, well, I'll just settle for being Dale. And I think champion sounds pretty nice.
Another season has come and gone, and it's time once again to gather at the Waldorf Astoria in Midtown Manhattan for the 46th annual NASCAR Winston Cup Awards Banquet. Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Jenkins. Welcome. It is a great evening here in the Big Apple, and we're going to have a lot of fun in the next 2 hours as we hand out the awards and finally honor the champion. For 1994, now 7-time champion Dale Earnhardt. Benny Parsons is with me, and hey, you raced against this guy. Is he that good?
You know, I remember back in 1980, the National 500 in Charlotte Motor Speedway, Dale Earnhardt, the first time I saw him, he was sideways. I said, well, he'll wreck in a minute. He stayed sideways for 500 miles. He is really that good.
Also joining us for tonight's telecast, he's completed his first year of pit reporting on ESPN during the Saturday shows. He wishes he were down there among the top 10, but unfortunately it didn't work out for him this year in the race car, but I know it will next year. Kyle, welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Tell me the truth. What does your dad think about Dale Earnhardt and tying his 7th record?
He's got a big wall with Dale's picture on it, and when he sits there and watches TV, he throws things at it. Really, I tell you what, he has a lot of respect for Dale Earnhardt. I think to be a Winston Cup champion says it all, and anybody that's ever been a Winston Cup champion, like Benny Parsons, knows you got to have respect for what they've done, and to do it 7 times like he's done it, that's incredible.
Jerry Punch is also with us. He'll be reporting from LaFleur this evening, but right now let's go to our first award of the evening. It's presented by Dan Cotter of True Value Hardware Stores. It honors the driver who led the most laps, and the recipient wins it despite the fact that he missed 11 races. Here's Dan Cotter.
For Dan Cotter.
Thanks, Barney. True Value Hardware is proud of its association with NASCAR Winston Cup Racing through the True Value Hard Charger competition. True Value posts $5,000 in every event to the top 3 in True Value Hard Charger standings for that particular event. And we post $50,000 to those 3 drivers accumulating the most points over the course of the season. I want to offer my congratulations to Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt for finishing 2nd and 3rd in this year's competition. We feel that the True Value Hard Charger points truly distinguish those drivers who are running at the front throughout each race and throughout the season. Tonight, I offer congratulations from everyone at True Value to a driver who competed in only 20 of the 31 events held this season, but ran up front so much in those races that he built an insurmountable lead. It is my pleasure to present a check for $30,000 to the driver of the Texaco Haviland Ford, Ernie Irvin.
Thank you, everybody. It's really not needed, but I did like it, though. They have a little board up here, but it doesn't tell me what to say, so I kind of ad-lib. I really want to thank True Value and their support of NASCAR and Winston Cup racing, and this award was developed by them, and really enjoy competing for it every week. Some great competitors with Dale and Rusty and Mark too, and just a lot of good competitors. I want to congratulate the whole Richard Childress race team and Dale Earnhardt for their 6th championship, and that was awesome. Really want to thank all the people at Robert Yates Racing. Everything they've did for me and are going to continue to do for me is something special, and probably in the years to come I'll have to learn more about that, but it's a great race team, and without that I couldn't have done this, and I'm the one accepting the award, but it's a team effort, and really appreciate it, and thank you, everybody.
The 46th NASCAR Winston Cup Awards are brought to you by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today. By Quaker State 4x4 Motor Oil, the intelligent oil for hard-working engines. By Smooth Busch Beer, an easy drink in Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR. And by NASCAR 94 Year in Review and ESPN Home Video. To order, call 800-71-NASCAR.
Hurry into McDonald's Holiday Film Fest today and take home 2 great videos. The baseball classic, Field of Dreams. If you build it, he will come. And get the time travel adventure, Back to the Future. This is it. Each video is just $5.99 when you buy any extra value meal or large sandwich. So dash into McDonald's Holiday Film Fest now and get these family favorites for the favorites in your family.
At McDonald's today.
Now, an oil made just for your hard-working engine. 4x4 from Quaker State. Off-roading, extreme temperatures, towing and hauling. They all make your light truck or 4x4 work extra hard and could shorten its life. Why settle for a conventional car oil? Get 4x4 from Quaker State. The intelligent oil for hard-working engines. Now, get up to a $1.89 mail-in rebate on a 6-pack case of 4x4. So you buy 5 quarts and get 1 free.
Sure, you've got a car. Got a dog. Even got some fun-loving friends. But have you got what it takes to be a mountain man? All it really takes are the 2 cool beers of the mountain man. Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. So, be a mountain man. All you gotta do is head for the mountains.
A lot of people who work on their cars will only shop at AutoZone. They depend on us for the best quality parts and low prices every day. They come in, get what they need, and then get back to work. Because you see, they believe if you want the job done right, you do it yourself. Well, at AutoZone, we couldn't agree more. Because when you take the time and the effort to work on your car yourself, you ought to be choosy about where you shop. We just thank you for choosing AutoZone.
Welcome back to the 46th Annual NASCAR Winston Cup Awards ceremony from the Waldorf Astoria in Midtown Manhattan. I'm Bob Jenkins, along with Benny Parsons, Kyle Petty, and Jerry Punch, who's down the floor. We are moving right along with the program, gentlemen. We want to hold here a few minutes before we go down on the stage. And Benny, they tell me that not too many years ago, this banquet was held up in the room where we had the news conference this morning, and it didn't hold more than a couple hundred people.
A couple hundred people, and tonight there's like 1,100 here. And I was told there's 400 people on the waiting list that wanted to be here tonight but couldn't get a ticket.
And I guess you didn't even have a seat down on the floor, huh?
No, I'm got a media card today. They didn't even feed me at this thing. I don't know what happens. You go from finishing 5th in the points to not even getting fed up here.
I got fed, folks. No problem.
But there's also a lot of money at stake here, and I know we've talked about this in the past, but boy, how much the purses and the awards have increased just in the last few years.
Well, Kyle Petty talked about it in 1973. I won a championship, and folks, 1973, I'll tell you, the championship paid $71,000. Tonight, Dale Earnhardt will get what, $1,300,000?
$1,300,000. When you won the championship, where did they have the banquet at?
At the Plaza Hotel in Daytona.
And did they do the Winston Cup, the
yeah.
Sportsman, and the Modified all in one night?
All the NASCAR champions were on the podium together. That's
Together.
right.
When I remember Richie Evans used to show up, collect his check, and go back to New Smyrna to run the Modified race.
The award of excellence that was awarded here tonight by NASCAR, something that doesn't happen every year, only when warranted. Here are the recipients: Jack Roush, Dan Ribard from Ford, and Herb Fischel from Chevrolet. It was because of the roof laps that were developed for safety purposes. Now let's go to the floor, and Barney Hall, your host, on stage.
Our all-star race team that recognizes 3 drivers through a voting process open to all NASCAR fans. Here to recognize the 1995 members of the team is the Director of Motorsports for McDonald's. Please welcome Mr. David Parro.
The close of the 1994 NASCAR Winston Cup season brought to an end McDonald's first 5 years of involvement with NASCAR. And the first thing we learned through these last 5 years is that we plan to be involved for many years to come. The second thing we've learned is that race fans know their stuff. The McDonald's All-Star Race Team was created to give fans a chance to tell us who their favorite drivers are. By calling a special 1-900 number during the season, fans cast votes for the drivers they felt should be part of the team. Additionally, proceeds from these calls benefit Ronald McDonald Children's Charities directly. We added a twist this year and balloted among a distinguished panel of media and the drivers themselves. And what we learned is that race fans are indeed on top of their sport, because the 1995 team is strikingly similar to this past year's team. And tonight we honor 3 special individuals, all-star race team members for the second straight year. First, the driver of the DuPont Chevrolet, who found his way to victory lane twice this year in a few fairly big races, Jeff Gordon. Next, and now a 3-time member of the McDonald's All-Star Team, an 8-time winner in '94 and driver of the Miller Genuine Draft Ford, Rusty Wallace. And named for the 6th year in a row, and he's the only driver to be named every year, of course, the driver of the Good Wrench Chevrolet, your NASCAR Winston Cup champion, Dale Earnhardt. On behalf of NASCAR fans everywhere, McDonald's is very pleased to present each of these gentlemen a check for $50,000, and accepting for all 3 members of the McDonald's All-Star Race Team is Rusty Wallace.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I'll tell you what, when all 3 of these drivers get out there and run their brains out like they did this year, and they have this voting, and all the fans pick their favorite drivers, and we're 3 of them, myself and Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt, it's really a special feeling. To win the championship's a wonderful thing, and Dale, I congratulate that solely. I really mean it. And I'll tell you what, but those race fans, those are the real people. When they vote those 3 key guys, it's a wonderful feeling. And when I heard a couple of races before the last race, that I was a winner again. It was a wonderful feeling. I felt great about it. And on behalf of all the rest of the team members and McDonald's, I'd like to thank you very much for voting us in again, and we'll do a good job. See you at your closest McDonald's restaurant sometime this year. Thank you.
Rusty Wallace accepting the McDonald's Award, $50,000. We'll be back with more Dr. Jerry Punch. We'll have the Rookie of the Year for 1994 in just a moment.
Hurry into McDonald's Holiday Film Fest today and take home 2 great videos. The baseball classic, Field of Dreams. If you build it, he will come. And get the time travel adventure, Back to the Future. This is it. Each video is just $5.99 when you buy any extra value meal or large sandwich. So dash into McDonald's Holiday Film Fest now and get these family favorites for the favorites in your family.
At McDonald's today.
What, is this your idea of excitement? Let me tell you about exciting, okay? Driving around a racetrack at over 200 miles an hour, that's exciting. These are just flakes.
Well, what do you think?
These are really good. They're crispy, too.
Really?
Yeah, they're mighty good even with nothing on them. What are they?
Hey, Charlie.
Yeah.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes?
How could I be so dumb?
You got 500 miles to think about it.
Kellogg's is proud to sponsor NASCAR champion Terry Labonte.
This Christmas, give something that will make them ho, ho, ho all year long. Give the shower massage by Teledyne Waterpick.
Every time the driving conditions change, the threats to your car's engine change. That's why Quaker State has engineered intelligent oil that senses those changing threats and adapts its own molecular structure to protect your engine, whatever the conditions. So, if the temperature changes, so does Quaker State. If the traffic congestion changes, so does Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life.
Stay with the flock. Stay with the flock. Stay with the flock. Hey, who's that? Don't be a sheep. Dare to compare Panasonic sound to the other guys.
We welcome you back to the 46th Annual NASCAR Winston Cup Awards Banquet. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch, and we're down here on the floor, as Bob told you. And moments ago, while we were away, the 1994 Max Race Cars Rookie of the Year Award was presented to who else? South Boston, Virginia driver Jeff Burton. And Jeff, congratulations. You're first of all, you're $25,000 richer.
Well, we need that after spending a few days in New York. That'll hurt you pretty bad. Christmas coming up, and got a child on the way, so we got a lot of things going on. We need some money.
Now, your predecessor last year, Jeff Gordon, proved there's no such thing as a sophomore jinx, so the pressure's on. Now, what about 1995 as far as this Stavola Brothers team has done so well? You've added some more personnel along with Buddy Barnes. You brought on a new crew chief.
That's right. We brought on Donnie Richardson, and along with Buddy and everybody that's already been in the shop, I think it's going to be a tremendous asset. He brings a wealth of knowledge that'll help us, build toward the future, and that's what it's all about. Stavola Brothers, when they hired Jeff Burton, obviously they were building for the future. It wasn't a Rusty Wallace hiring where he's going to immediately win races. It was going to take a while, so that's what we're working on, and all of our sponsors are behind us, and we're just getting ready. We're pretty pumped up, ready to go.
Gordon got 2 wins on his sophomore year. Can you top it?
I don't know. The pressure's on, isn't it? He put it on pretty hard. That's a good goal to shoot for. If we could do as well as he did, that's good. And I tell you what, we need to, that sophomore jinx, everybody keeps talking about it. I'm going to ignore it if that's all right. I don't really believe in jinxes and all that stuff. If we work hard like we've been doing, we'll be all right.
Jeff, congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Jeff Burton, 1994 Max Race Cars Rookie of the Year. Bob?
As you mentioned, Jerry, he's from the state of Virginia, but he is not the only driver from Virginia to win this prestigious award. Here are some of the others who have walked away with the Winston Cup Rookie of the Year award down through the years. More from the Waldorf Astoria in a moment.
Yeah, you've seen it all. Done it all. Pretty much got it all figured out. But have you got what it takes to be a mountain man? All it takes are the 2 cool beers of the Mountain Man. Smooth bush beer, easy drinking bush light. So, be a mountain man. All you gotta do is head for the mountains.
Now, an oil made just for your hard-working engine. 4x4 from Quaker State. Off-roading, extreme temperatures, towing and hauling. They all make your light truck or 4x4 work extra hard and could shorten its life. Why settle for a conventional car oil? Get 4x4 from Quaker State, the intelligent oil for hard-working engines. Now, get up to a $1.89 mail-in rebate on a 6-pack case of 4x4. So you buy 5 quarts and get 1 free.
Have you experienced the awesome power of the Panasonic Real 3DO system? Obviously. The intense realism of Panasonic Real 3DO. Apparently. Or the mind-blowing graphics of Panasonic Real 3DO. Definitely. Cool. The Real 3DO system from Panasonic.
Kids are full of questions.
Will my nose grow if I tell lies? Can I have 3 wishes like Aladdin? Can I fly like Peter Pan? Can I?
Who inspired these Disney questions? Burger King. Because for the first time ever, I get these great Disney glasses with magical moments from Disney classics. Aladdin. Peter Pan. All their favorites, just 89 cents each with any Whopper value meal.
Daddy, are you Mommy's Prince Charming?
Burger King. Get your burger's worth.
The 1994 Winston Cup will be presented later tonight to Dale Earnhardt. Right now, we are handing out some other awards here live at the Waldorf Astoria. Some very interesting things, Benny, just happened down on stage. I want you to tell everybody about it.
Folks, I wish you could have heard that Jeff Bodine won the Bush Pole Award, winning the most poles for the year. He and Ernie Irvin tied, but the tiebreaker is outside poles, so Jeff Bodine won $40,000. He told us he was not going to accept the money because he felt like Ernie would have won the award if he had been able to compete. So he said, I'm going to let Ernie and Kim pick a charity, and we'll give the money to them. So he announced tonight that Kim and Ernie picked the World 600 Children's Charities, and he's going to give them $40,000 next week in Charlotte. Bruce Smith liked that so well, he said, I tell you what, I'll match that.
Yeah.
So next week in Charlotte, the Children's Charities gets $80,000. Thank you, Jeff Bodine and Bruce Smith.
You know, Darrell Waltrip earlier tonight led the invocation and mentioned how they're fierce competitors on the racetrack, but they're very compassionate with each other on the racetrack otherwise. Let's go down to Dr. Jerry Punch again.
Oh, we're backstage. We caught up with Darrell Waltrip, who's about to go up for an award to speak a little bit. EW, great year for your team, finishing the top 10 on the points, and only one DNF. What a great effort.
Yeah, and that one was driver error, so that really makes me feel good. But I had a great year from August on. We were the third highest producing point team. In other words, we finished third in the points if you went from August on. So if I can carry that kind of momentum and that kind of consistency into 95, I'll have a great year in 95. My team is staying intact. I'm not losing anybody, and that's the first time that's happened in a pretty good while, and I'm excited about that.
And the car owner's making some pretty good money for a change.
Well, we're paying the bills, and I'm not having to take it out of my pocket. That helps a whole lot.
Darrell, we'll let you go back to the stage. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Jess.
Let's go back to Bob. Bob?
Thank you, Jerry. And T. Wayne Robertson, the president of Sports Marketing Enterprises, is about to present the top 10.
Well, thank you. 1994 was truly unique. For the first time in over 10 years, we had the championship sewed up before the last race. As a matter of fact, the guy that spoiled the season was the same guy that spoiled it the time before, Dale Earnhardt. But the competition for 10 through 2 was just as competitive or more competitive than it's ever been, with a number of competitors moving up, and as those competitors moved up, other competitors moved back. So the last of the season was truly competitive NASCAR Winston Cup racing, and the best in the world, as we know it always is. Finishing 10th this year, rounding out his career with the Budweiser Junior Johnson team, was Bill Elliott.
During his final year in the seat of the Budweiser Ford, this driver displayed the necessary elements of a champion: patience and strength behind the wheel. But Bill Elliott didn't waste time when in track record style he captured a berth in the 1995 Busch Clash with the pole at Darlington, and then he didn't stop until he finished third. Beneath this intense exterior, however, Elliott had to keep calm until the rest of the season came his way. He gave Talladega every ounce of effort, coming in second to the other red car. An impressive third at Indianapolis, followed by a fifth at Bristol, sent the message. Bill Elliott's favorite memory of the Mountain Dew Southern 500 at Darlington would be Victory Lane. 3 more top 10 finishes, including a third at Martinsville, solidified this gentleman's 11th time here at the podium. Remember, patience does pay off. Please welcome the 1988 NASCAR Winston Cup champion, 9-time NASCAR most popular driver, and this year's 10th place finisher in the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings, behind the wheel of Junior Johnson's Budweiser Ford, from Dawsonville, Georgia, Bill Elliott.
Bill, congratulations. I have a check for you for $84,020 for 10th place. Congratulations.
Wow. You know, I got to say, the last couple of years have been pretty long seasons, but all in all, we fought back a pretty hard battle. You know, all the guys at Junior Johnson Associates, Mike Beam and all the crew, they really worked hard putting me back up front. You know, really like to thank Winston. Winston's been in this deal for a long time, and they've really done a lot of support for us and for what NASCAR racing's all about. But, you know, all in all, this stuff, it's a team effort, you know, and all those guys back at the shop that's working, just like Dale and all his guys, you know, no one guy can come out here and do it. You know, without all the good fans out there and the support we get each and every week, you know, we wouldn't all be here tonight. And I think we've got to not lose sight of that, whatever we do. But, you know, looking back on the season, the last 3 years, I got to thank all the people with Anheuser-Busch, all of the fine wholesalers and retailers I've met out there on the road. I got to look back and thank Amoco, Ford for their support the last number of years. I got to thank Mike Bean for his patience and support the last couple of years. I mean, we really had a tough season, but we really fought back and worked hard. But all in all, it's been a great season, and looking forward to my association with McDonald's next year, and I think that'll be great for me. But like I said, it's been a great season. I really appreciate all the help everybody's given me. Thank you very much.
Finishing ninth was one of those competitors that didn't give up. And with a late season charge, Darrell Waltrip in the Western Auto Chevrolet.
Determination, track savvy, miles and miles of racing experience. That's what this man strapped into the cockpit when the 1994 season began. In his 20th full season of NASCAR Winston Cup competition, Darrell Waltrip got his season going with a third-place finish at Atlanta, and then took home fourth on the Martinsville short track he knows so well. Often still in the battle when others have bowed out, Darrell captured top 10 finishes in June at Dover and Michigan, saying his career was now complete by adding an Indianapolis green flag to his resume. DW finished 6th in the inaugural Brickyard 400, beginning an August streak of top 10 finishes, ending with a 4th under the lights at Bristol. With a 3rd place showing at Dover in September, this two-time NASCAR most popular driver tallied 9 top 10 finishes in the second half of the season to earn his recognition here tonight. Along the way, he extended his modern-day record of taking the checkered flag in 40 consecutive races. For the 18th time in his storied career, please welcome back to the Waldorf Astoria stage the owner and driver of the Western Auto Chevrolet, 3-time NASCAR Winston Cup champion from Franklin, Tennessee, Darrell Waltrip.
Darrell, for your ninth place finish, I have a check here for you for $96,505, and I'll bet you if you'd asked Dale, he might round it up to 100.
I don't know. I asked him for change for 100, and he said that was change, so I don't know if he'd help me out or not. I got to tell you one more story about Earnhardt. If you wasn't at the press conference yesterday, I really think you missed the highlight of the whole weekend. They get him up there and they asked him, say, Dale, what's different about you now and when you won your first championship? Well, he thinks a minute and he says, well, I'm smarter. And I agree with that. He said, I'm more mature. I said, yeah, we all are. And he said, and I'm mellowed. Now, Dale Earnhardt said he is mellowed. All of a sudden, this little vision came in my mind. Ladies and gentlemen, driver of the number 3 Goodwill Chevrolet, Dale Earnhardt. And then someone bumped my chair, and I woke up, and I knew it was just a dream. I've had a great season, actually. It didn't start off very well, and we had some concerns about the driver, the owner, and we had a meeting with our sponsor, Western Auto. Y'all met John Leach earlier, and he became sort of my mentor, and he gave me some direction. He gave me some encouragement. And, you know, that's the thing that I guess when you have been doing this as long as I have, and you get to the point in your career where I am, that's the one thing you need a lot of, is encouragement. And that's what I tell my crew when I start a race every Sunday. I say, you know, if I get to dragging around a little bit, if I get to whining a little bit, car's not too good, it's loose, or whatever, tell me just to shut up and drive the car. tell me how good I'm doing. Tell me I'm catching the guy in front of me by a couple of tenths or whatever. And I'll usually pick it up a little bit. And that's what my sponsor this year has really had to do for me, and it's really made a difference. They've encouraged me. They encouraged me to make some changes on my team, and I did. And it made a difference. And it really turned our season around. And John, I want to thank you for being a part of that and helping me make some of those tough decisions. We've got some great sponsors. The AC people with the products that they supply us, the Haviland Motor Oil. Herb, I'm sorry. Maybe next year we'll get them back. I'd a lot rather listen to you and listen to Edsel. You're a lot. I don't mean that unkindly, Edsel. I mean, Herb usually has something really encouraging to say to Chevrolet owners. So I don't mean that unkind. Don't take that unkind, whatever you do. Tom Cotter and his people have done a great job of marketing our team this year. Keith Walsh has worked his heart out and got us a lot of good publicity. We've had a great year. And I look forward to 1995. I have a goal. I want to win 100 races. And I want to win one more championship. It's going to be hard, I know. I mean, it's obvious it's going to be hard. But I think I can do it. And normally, I would say something about tires. But I learned in 1994 I don't know a lot about tires. Except that they're expensive. And that's all I'm going to say about tires. I look forward to next year. I've got a great team. We're not making any changes. And that's going to be a first for a couple of years. Watch out for 17. We're coming back.
Finishing 8th this year was a competitor that, outside of Dale Earnhardt, I'm sure had the best year of anybody. He won the Super Speedway race, the Coca-Cola 600, won the inaugural Brickyard 400, which everybody wanted to win. And more importantly, last Saturday, he won the heart of Brooke Seeley, and they were married. Jeff Gordon.
Nothing in motorsports is ever a sure thing, but every once in a while, someone comes along with the right to challenge that statement. Meet the newest contender. With the support of his second-year owner and carrying 1993 NASCAR Winston Cup Rookie of the Year honors, 23-year-old Jeff Gordon began his quest for success early. At the Busch Clash, he beat the veterans at their own game. In the famed Daytona Victory Circle, we got our first taste of what a points race triumph would be like. He came close in the Daytona 500 with a fourth-place finish and backed it up 2 races later with a third at Richmond. He could run fast and run up front. These tracks were no longer asphalt strangers to him. He captured the pole for the Memorial Weekend Showcase, and on May 29th, Jeff found the winning combination, and the code name was Charlotte. Gordon continued his assault on the super speedways with top 10 finishes at Dover, Pocono, and Daytona. Then it was time to go back home again. Decades from now, we can all say we were there in Indianapolis to witness the merging of racing superpowers, the day that a local boy became a national hero, the day that Jeff Gordon crossed the final yard of brick ahead of all others for the inaugural honors. First race, first place. For his win, Jeff took a victory lap like no other, and now his ties to NASCAR Winston Cup racing are permanent. It's a sure bet this won't be his last trip to the Waldorf Astoria podium. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from the Rick Hendrick stable, the driver of the DuPont Chevrolet, finishing 8th in the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings, from Pittsboro, Indiana, Jeff Gordon.
Congratulations. I have a check for you for $117,314.
Wow, man, that's a lot of money. Figures I'd have to go after Darrell. You know, I was back there trying to memorize what I was going to say when I got up here, and then Darrell starts making all these jokes. I'm thinking, none of this is going to be funny after that. So, you know, it's been a great season. I mean, gosh, you know, you look back, and I'm so proud to be a part of NASCAR, and to win my first Winston Cup race was just unbelievable, and I think it showed. But then that second one wasn't too bad either. You know, it has really been a great season, and I don't think that you can have a season like we've had without, you know, a lot of people behind you, and we've got some great sponsors. You know, particular DuPont. They do so much for us, and we thank them. Rick Hendrick, greatest car owner in the world, and you know, I'm happy to be a part of his stable and have two great teammates like Kenny Schrader and Terry Labonte. And I tell you, I mean, it's nice to come up here and accept a check like this from R.J. Reynolds. They sure do a lot for the sport, and this is a lot of money. So I'm really proud to be a part of NASCAR, to be up here accepting this award. Thank all the fans that are out there, and you know, I really got to thank the guys who can't be here, the guys who are there each and every weekend and all day in the shop. You know, you guys are there at home. Thank you very much for everything you do. Ray Evernham, you know, he's a great crew chief, and he takes care of me. I know it's a tough job sometimes to keep me straight, but he does a good job at it. Congratulate Dale, number 7. That's pretty awesome. I don't know if anybody will ever be able to top that, but I think last but not least, you know, I'm not up here accepting the championship ring like you are, but I got one I'm pretty proud of, and that's my bride, Brooke Seeley, and I love her very much, and it's been a great year. Thank you.
Well, they've called him the Iceman, but in 1994, I think he's better known as a comeback kid. Terry Labonte with 3 wins, Rick Hendricks, Kellogg Chevrolet.
In his first season as one of the trio campaigning for owner Rick Hendrick, Texan Terry Labonte decided to make winning a familiar role in 1994. After a season-opening 3rd place at Daytona, Labonte began his trend of victory lane appearances by holding off the strongest of short-track competitors in winning margin style for his 3rd career checkered flag at North Wilkesboro. The long summer stretch proved to be Labonte's toughest test, but he broke the heat with a 6th place on the twisty turns of Watkins Glen. The cool and confident Iceman went under the lights at Richmond with a recipe for success, and once again his Chevy stirred up a winner. Now focused on setting a personal best, he set out for the desert. When asked who would be the Phoenix favorite, the veteran said, "Watch out for that 5 car." He gave the fans over 300 miles to think about it before he pulled into victory lane. With the hat trick in place, the final tally shows that next to our champion, Terry Labonte scored more points in the second half of the season than anyone else. Next year's goal looks very clear for the man who finishes 7th this year in the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings. For the 12th time in his career, please welcome to the stage the driver of Rick Hendrick's Kellogg Chevrolet, 1984 NASCAR Winston Cup champion from Corpus Christi, Texas, Terry Labonte.
Terry, for your 7th place finish, I have a check for $144,776.
Thanks, Wayne. That's almost as much money as I won when I won the championship 10 years ago, so I sure do appreciate that. And Jeff, Brooks' last name is Gordon now, instead of Seeley. That's what teammates are for, you know, to help each other out like that. I'll tell you what, I got to thank everybody at Winston and everybody at NASCAR for all the things that they do for our sport. It just continues to grow and gets bigger and better every season. I've got to congratulate Dale on another championship, and except for him, I'm probably the second happiest driver that's going to come across this stage tonight. We had a great season with our Kellogg Chevrolet, Got to thank Rick Hendrick, my car owner, for believing in me, giving me a chance to drive for him. He's got a great team, and I appreciate that. All the guys that worked on our car, Gary D. Hart, the crew chief, he did a great job. Randy Dorton, Jeff Andrews, our engine builders, and all the guys in the engine shop did a great job. Eddie Dickerson built the race cars. All his guys did a great job also. And we sure couldn't have done it without all our sponsors. You know, Kellogg's Corn Flakes, Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheats, GMAC, Chevrolet, Valvoline, and Goodyear. And we sure do appreciate that. And thanks to all the fans out there that, you know, support us and all our sponsors. And we'll see y'all next year. Thanks.
We hate to do it, but we have to take a break. Morgan Shepherd is up next. If we don't hear from him on the stage, we'll talk to him later in the evening. Stay with us.
All right, class, get out your notebooks. It's convenient. 2 campuses, one in Bradenton, one in Venice. It's flexible, AM, PM, year-round. It's for all ages, from the end of high school through the rest of your life. It's affordable, $34 per credit hour. What are we talking about? Manatee Community College. Get your associate in arts or associate in science. Bradenton campus, 755-1511. South campus, 493-3504. You will be quizzed on this later.
Ford flat puts the hurt on the competition. Did you realize that the Ford F-Series is America's #1 selling truck? You talk about total dominance. Baby, today, just like FSU, they're on top. The best built truck you'll find, Ford F-150, that's tough. And the price is going to be right. Your Southern Ford dealers have their priorities in order. To them, you're #1. Woo, boy.
Conditions change. The threats to your car's engine change. That's why Quaker State has engineered intelligent oil that senses those changing threats and adapts its own molecular structure to protect your engine, whatever the conditions. So, if the temperature changes, so does Quaker State. If the traffic congestion changes, so does Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life.
Here's a great gift idea for Christmas, the new Black & Decker cordless screwdriver. You may actually get some things done around the house. Now with the detachable VersaPack battery from Black & Decker.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light.
Your legs take a beating all day long. They shouldn't have to take one on the ride home. That's why Chevy has the most front and rear legroom of any full-size extended cab.
Stay with the flock. Stay with the flock. Stay with the flock. Hey, who's that? Don't be a sheep. Dare to compare Panasonic sound to the other guys.
Welcome back to the NASCAR Winston Cup Banquet. Morgan Shepherd has just accepted a check for $171,390. Let's pick up his comments.
In and week out. I know that Eddie and us, we've got down certain parts of the season and couldn't figure out what was wrong with the cars. And we'd go to one of the other teams and they would help us out. But that's what this sport is about. And I don't know of any other motorsport that has the competition that NASCAR has put together. How many other motorsports that you see running that has 20 cars in the same lap at the end of 500 laps? I commend NASCAR on their great job. Also, Sidco is very much the same way. They operate as family. They care about their people. I know they helped me with my program in the mountains to help the underprivileged, and they're involved in so many other deals to help people with. Larry and Fran Britton, they're one of my greatest supporters, and I appreciate y'all, and Ron Hall, everyone at Sidco. I don't want to forget I made me a couple little notes. Last year I left out some very important people, Ford Motor Company, who puts the wheels under us. They also operate like family. They care about each and every team they call us all together for team meetings. And they want to see everybody get the information they need to do the job that they need. And last but not least, Goodyear. They made sure that they put us a safe tire out there, the safest that they could give us. They tried not to go over the edge because they care about their people. And I thank all of you.
Finishing in the top 10 NASCAR Winston Cup racing is no small feat. But to do it in the first year when you put together a new team, I think we said earlier in the video earlier, it takes a professional, a real pro. And finishing 5th was Ricky Rudd.
In his 18th full season of NASCAR Winston Cup competition, this man undertook the biggest job of them all, that of running his own team. And for the 14th time in his career, his knowledge of what it takes inside the cockpit and out returns him to the New York spotlight. In the first half of 1994, Ricky Rudd turned the super speedways into his allies, posting consistent top 10 finishes at Daytona, Atlanta, Darlington, and Charlotte. While this new team was getting used to each other, they were also in an early battle for the NASCAR Winston Cup. Maybe forgotten was a streak of at least one win a year since 1983. But the driver gave his owner the prize when the Tide Machine added 1994 and Loudon to that list. Always a favorite on the road courses, Rudd scored a 5th at Watkins Glen and proceeded to continue his top 10 march through the second half of the season, highlighted by a pole position at Rockingham. He entered the season finale at Atlanta just one mark behind the next rung on the points ladder. And when the season concluded, Ricky had garnered more track miles than any of his competitors. Ladies and gentlemen, finishing 5th in the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings, the driver and owner of the Tide Ford from Chesapeake, Virginia, Ricky Rudd.
Ricky, congratulations. And I have a check here that you don't have to split with anybody this year, except Linda, for $203,010.
Thank you very much, Wayne. I was backstage watching that video. I got a little nervous when that 24 and 10 car was seen sitting there side by side. It get a little shaky when they get around each other. I'd like to thank the R.J. Reynolds folks for putting all this money up they do. You know, a little incentive, you know, the championship was probably won with about 8 races left in the season, I guess, with Ernie's tragedy and being injured and not being able to come back. But there was a lot of races within races. There was a heck of a race going on from 2nd place on back to, say, 6th to 8th in the point standings. And we were battling just as hard as if we were running for the championship, and had a real good battle with Kenny Schrader, and it was a real good, clean battle. And Morgan Shepherd, it came right down to the wire to the last race at Atlanta. We really weren't sure how it was going to turn out, but fortunately we were able to finish 5th. And just really proud of this whole team that we've been able to assemble. A lot of guys went out of their way to make this team a success. And I guess I had to make a little list here. I want to make sure I didn't leave anybody out. And this list becomes more important when you become a car owner. As a driver, if you miss somebody, it's not that big of a deal. You'll hear about it. As an owner, you all of a sudden your sponsor checks might not appear on time, just exactly at the right time. So anyway, I want to make sure I don't leave anybody out. Goodyear tires, they were great to us. They had a long, hard battle all year long. Leo, Mel, you guys would be commended. We were right in there with the battle with you, and feel like we were able to win this year. Ford Motor Company stepped up and gave us some support. A new team, they gave us a chance, and I'd like to thank those guys. Sickens Paints, AC Spark Plugs. You know, these are guys that are it's a General Motors company, and they stepped up, and I guess we're the only Ford representative with AC Spark Plugs, so it's a big honor to be able to carry that sticker on our car. Unical Oil Company, Mac Tools, Patrick Ford, Pro Motor Company that furnished us engines all year. They did a great job. Didn't have an engine failure all year long. We had some problems, but mostly due to driver error, making the wrong judgment calls occasionally, and ended up with some accidents, a couple of accidents. But I guess most of all, we have to really thank our sponsor, Tide. You know, without these folks, you know, we wouldn't be up here tonight.
to me, they really, I'm proud that they had enough confidence that we could take this team and build it from scratch in year one and be able to, they end up putting their money up, which it flatters me. There's, you had to think about all the money it takes to go Winston Cup racing, and these folks put up the big money, and as far as they knew, we'd take that money and skip off to South Americas, because at the time we didn't have a shop, we didn't have a toolbox, we didn't own anything. And through their support, we were able to build up a good Winston Cup team. So most of all, I'd like to thank those guys, and my wife Linda, and I guess probably all this racing is very important, but probably the biggest event that we've had happen in our lives this year, and that's the birth of our son Landon. After 15 years of marriage, we're finally parents, and all this is great, but it kind of puts everything in perspective, and the birth of our son Landon Lee, so we're real proud of that, our new car owner, and so we do have a car owner to answer to after all. But then again, thanks again for RJ Reynolds, all the money they put up. Thank you.
I'll keep it. Well, that's quite an accomplishment, but also quite an accomplishment is Hendrick Motorsports putting 3 teams. It's been said you can't run 2 teams and be successful. Well, Hendrick Motorsports has proved not only can you run 2, you can run 3 teams and be successful. Finishing 4th from the Rick Hendrick stables with Papa Joe's Kodiak Chevrolet, Ken Schrader.
To ride the crest of the NASCAR Winston Cup points wave takes concentrated teamwork and a master plan. To ride it out for the entire 31 races, well, it takes a man like Ken Schrader. Rick Hendrick, senior driver, began his season with top 10 finishes at Daytona and Rockingham. Schrader then battled on the banks at Bristol, ending with runner-up honors. The versatility of this 11-year veteran was as diverse as the circuits the NASCAR Winston Cup Tour visits. Never to drop lower than 6th in the standings from here on, Schrader took a 5th at Talladega, back-to-back 3rds at Dover and Pocono, and ended his successful summer with a 4th at Watkins Glen. But he wasn't finished yet. Determined to ride the wave all the way to New York, Schrader rose to 4th in the points, with this 4th on the Monster Mile at Dover. With his former teammate only 1 point away, the Hooters 500 at Atlanta became a race within a race. Schrader prevailed, and thanks to 18 top 10 finishes during the season, he joins us here for the 7th time in his career. Please welcome the final member of the Rick Hendrick Triumvirate, finishing 4th in the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings behind the wheel of the Kodiak Chevrolet. From Fenton, Missouri, Ken Schrader.
Kenny, for your 4th place finish, I have a check for $254,627. Not bad, buddy.
Yeah, thanks very much, Wayne, and everybody from RJR. Just think we'd have won something this year. I mean, like won a race or something. But Rick, I'm going to make you a promise that last year I did poles, and we won the Bush Pole Award. This year I tried to just see if I could run 5 or 6 races in a row and not hit anything, and then we finished everything and finished good. Next year I'll try to win some stuff again, okay? I promise you. But this is the best we've finished. We've been 5th a couple times. It feels real good. Congratulations, you guys. This is, I can say it's just unreal, you guys, what you're doing. It ain't going to last, but it's unreal. I got to really thank the whole Hendrick family, except for Pop and Mary and Rick and Linda. Our deal's different, and it's just leadership that makes it work, and Rick gets it done. To get one team in the top 10 is hard. To get 3 in the top 8 is quite a feat, and I'm glad to be part of it. Kodiak and Valvoline, GMAC, Chevrolet, Goodyear, AC, DuPont, Kellogg's, people that make everything, make all 3 teams click. Want to thank them. We had 5 years with Kodiak. They were wonderful people to us, but we're going to move on next year to fly the Anheuser-Busch colors, and I'm real excited about that. Ken Howell's my crew chief. He's been like 2 years now, and which is still not very long for a Winston Cup crew chief, and he's trying to figure out how in the heck he wound up in Concord, South Carolina, or North Carolina, from Johannesburg, South Africa, so he's still going through some adjustments, but I wouldn't trade him for anybody, and we're just getting better. The guys in the motor shop, Kenny and Ronnie, the guys in the Hendrick shop, Randy leads them. and the R&D shop and both the other teams. They helped us a bunch. And I guarantee that thing's going to run better next year because I have seen what my guys do when they get around a bunch of free beer.
Hard luck, determination, and winning. That sums up our third place finisher. Driving a Roger Penske, Miller Genuine Draft Ford, Rusty Wallace.
In his fourth full year as the driver of Roger Penske's Miller Genuine Draft Ford, Rusty Wallace has many things on his resume. 1989 NASCAR Winston Cup champion. Winner. Fierce competitor. Stock car superstar. Wallace didn't wait too long to pick up where he left off last year. By race number 2, Rusty paid Rockingham's Victory Lane a visit. A pair of seconds at Richmond and North Wilkesboro was just a warm-up for his clean sweep of the pole and the race at Martinsville. Into the summer stretch, the driver in black and gold hoped that luck would be a lady. Rusty's wish came true in the form of June. In a 3-week span, he dominated Dover, paced Pocono, and mastered Michigan. Firmly in position for a run at his second NASCAR Winston Cup, Rusty called on every resource in his arsenal. Time was of the essence, and the Brain Trust formulated its strategy. Wallace brought the lights down on the short track season with his 5th career win at Bristol. He may have finished on fumes at Dover, but there was enough left in the tank to get him to victory lane. The 8th mark in the win column was etched at Martinsville, and with his efforts, a clinch of the manufacturer's crown for Ford. This man now adds a mission statement to his goals for next year. I'll be back. And now, here is the driver of Roger Penske's Miller Genuine Draft Ford, finishing 3rd in the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings from St. Louis, Missouri, Rusty Wallace.
Rusty, for your 3rd place finish, we have a check for $339,552.
Boy, thanks a lot, T-Win. I appreciate it. I really do. It's been a great year, no doubt about it. I mean, I can't say anything bad about it. With 8 victories and all those laps led and all that, it was truly a great year. And I tell you what, I got a lot of people to thank. I'd like to thank Ford Motor Company. And Etzel, I thought you did a hell of a job of speaking. I don't care what old DW says. Good friend of mine, but Cat, you can speak. Bosch Spark Plugs, a wonderful company. It kept that thing lit all year long. Mobile One, a great company. And Goodyear, I can't say nothing about you. You know, I threw a lot of stones at the other company all year long, and you guys never did get us in trouble, and it worked out okay. Winston, for the cash. And you guys are good boys. I tell you, I appreciate being around you. Roger Penske, one of my best friends and a fellow who taught me so much about life and about business, about how to win. Walt Zarnicki, a guy that's been with us on the phone at the racetrack all the time, and Don Miller, the guy that keeps the fires put out at the race shop and runs this whole thing. And Dan Luganbiel, and TR, who's always, you know, putting the fire out in the press. I appreciate everything you guys do. But I tell you what, you can't do it without a great team. And a great team do we have, no doubt about that. Those record-setting pit stops on every Sunday. Those cars prepared perfect. And I'm just a driver. I aim to beast, but they really put it together. And for Todd Parrott and Gary Brooks and David Evans and all the guys back watching tonight, guys, you're the true hero. I'm just here accepting everything for you. I've already congratulated Earnhardt, my old buddy. I don't have to do that no more. You got the big bucks, pal. But, you know, the sport did have a lot of tragedies this year, and I don't ever want to forget Alan Kwiecki and Davey Allison, all of our friends, Neil Bonnet, Rodney Orr, and a person who's awful close to me, a good friend of mine, Barry Dotson, who lost his 2 beloved children a couple days ago in an awful car wreck. It was a bad deal, and it was special to my heart. And Barry, we're all thinking about you. Trey and Tia, we'll never forget about you. And that's about it. Thank you very much.
True Grit, sums up Jack Roush Valvoline Ford Racing Team. Finishing second, Mark Martin.
In the world known as NASCAR Winston Cup, only the best compete in this highest echelon of stock car racing. Meet the team that measures up to the mechanical intellect and stamina required. Meet the man who may just be the most emotionally and physically prepared pilot around. Together, they form Roush Racing, starring Mark Martin. Martin began his 1994 season with 4 top 6 finishes in the first 5 races, including the runner-up spot at Darlington. In just the second race of the year, Mark was in the top 5 in points, a position he never relinquished. Mark then turned up the heat with a finishing streak from Dover to Talladega. A third, 3/4, a fifth, a sixth. Returning to Watkins Glen as the defending champion, he picked up where he left off, winning the Busch Pole and his first victory of the season. Martin continued to show his versatility as he backed up his road course win with a pair of second-place honors on the Super Speedway at Michigan and on the short track during a hot August night in Bristol. When opportunity knocked, the Roush team made sure it was prepared to answer. The first call came at Phoenix, where Mark collected his 4th runner-up spot of the year. In his final shot at Atlanta, Mark made it victory number 2 to boost him to position number 2. Making his 6th consecutive appearance here in New York, please welcome the 1990 and now 1994 NASCAR Winston Cup runner-up, driving the Jack Roush Valvoline Ford from Batesville, Arkansas, Mark Martin.
Mark, your tenacious efforts, we have a check here for $466,169.
I want to thank Winston for this huge check. I want to congratulate Dale Earnhardt and Richard Childress on an incredible season. I also want to recognize Ernie Irvin and Robert Yates for an awesome 20 races this year. I want to thank Jack Roush for giving me a chance to drive these cars when nobody else would. And Steve Meal, great crew chief. And my team, I don't feel like that we got the kind of results on the racetrack that the effort that they really put in. In my mind, they put out a championship effort, and you know, we're way short of these guys' points tally when it's all over with. So, you know, I just want to say that my team did a fabulous job. I drove great race cars this year, and hopefully in '95, you know, we'll get the kind of results that they have worked for in '94. I want to thank Valvoline for sticking with us through, you know, thick and thin. Reese's, Bosch, Cummins, Goodyear for great tires to race on, and Ford for giving us the best car on the racetrack. I want to thank the France family and everybody in NASCAR for giving us a chance to race in the best racing in the world. Want to thank Arlene and Matt for making the sacrifices and the compromises that we have to make to do this thing. Certainly look forward to next year. We had a great season, and I can't wait to get started at Daytona. Thank you very much.
So there are the drivers finishing 10 through 2. We're up to the championship team that is about to take the stage here at the Waldorf Astoria. We'll be back with more of our live coverage of the banquet in a moment.
There's no place on earth that I'd rather be out in the open where it's all plain to see. If it's gonna get done, it's up to you and to me, and there's no place that I'd rather be. Come on along and head for the mountains of Busch. Here, head for the mountains. It's cold and it's smooth, and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Busch.
In Normal, Illinois, Gene Goebel is popular with folks who need their car fixed. He does good work, and he doesn't charge an arm and a leg. Because when he needs auto parts, Gene buys a lot of them at AutoZone. You see, the prices are low every day at AutoZone. So a lot of good mechanics like Gene just pass the savings on to their customers. Plus, they can still get the best quality parts. Sure, they know how to do the work right, but they also know how to save money doing it at AutoZone.
Join us tomorrow for Louisville, Michigan State and Florida Wake Forest, only on ESPN.
The championship team is being called to the stage, and we'll go down there for more in just a few minutes, but we're going to talk a little bit about what's happened so far. Kyle, is it really tough to not be down there amongst the top 10?
I tell you, once you're there and you know what it feels like, you want to go back every year, and you want to keep moving up the ladder. When you get to 10th, you're thinking 9th and 8th, and then you're thinking 6th and 7th. And, you know, Mark Martin, he pretty much said it. He was second, and then he's dropped back, and he's back to second. And they put out a championship performance, and they just come up short, so it's tough not to be there.
And he won almost $500,000 for second place.
That's right, yeah.
Well, we're going to see some real money here in a minute.
Any other surprises so far, Benny?
No, I don't think so. I think it's been normal Banquet.
It's been pretty normal. I think Darrell was really excited with finishing in the top 10. I think Terry Labonte was excited. He was tickled to death. Some of the guys that finished in front of them, they weren't that emotional. They were a little upset at finishing second and third and swapping those positions. So, you know, there's not been anything real big.
You know, one of the things that was mentioned, how difficult it is to get 2 cars in the top 10, and here Rick Hendrick has 3 in the top 10 this year.
Pretty doggone impressive, I'll tell you what. But they've got a great organization there. 3 teams, but they got an engine room with all 30, 40 people there in the engine room, a chassis shop, and each team has their own shop with their own people. So it's a 3-team effort that's probably as good as any around. Could be.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's, you know, that's one of those deals where we've got one team, and I'm not in the top 10, so that's pretty tough. But, you know, I want to hit on something here that Rusty Wallace said something about Barry Dodson and losing Trey and Tia. It was pretty much last Friday night. They were in a tragic auto accident, and that was his only 2 children. They were 16 and 17 years old, and you know, I think Darrell said they had the invocation here before the evening started. And, you know, like Benny said before, there's 1,100 people here or whatever. And there was a moment of silence for 15 or 20 seconds. And I think that pretty much sums up the NASCAR family. You can't believe the people that have called Barry, the letters, the phone calls, the flowers. It's been incredible. And Barry's our crew chief now, and we want to let him know that we're all thinking of him. And I think everybody in the NASCAR community, their prayers are with him.
I echo that.
Well said. Well, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we will go back down to the stage as we continue to cover for you live from the Waldorf Astoria main ballroom in Midtown Manhattan, the '94 NASCAR Winston Cup Awards Banquet.
There's one thing that a racing engine and a street engine have in common. You want them both to last.
Haviland Formula 3 from Texaco.
To build a race engine that holds up, you have to use the best of everything, and Haviland does that job.
No other leading motor oil offers more complete protection to help your car run better, last longer. Good enough for Robert Yates. Haviland Formula 3. Why add just any motor oil? Add more life to your car.
Stay with the flock.
Stay with the flock.
Stay with the flock.
Hey, who's that? Don't be a sheep. Dare to compare Panasonic sound to the other guys.
This Christmas, give something that will make them ho, ho, ho all year long. Give the shower massage by Teledyne Water Pick.
Why should you insist on Rebestos brakes? Just ask NASCAR driver Jeff Burton. He drives a race car that travels at speeds up to 200 miles per hour, weighs over 3,000 pounds, and takes an extraordinary set of brakes to stop. But there is one person with even more confidence in Rebestos brakes. Roger. Raybestos, the best in brakes. For the professional installer near you, call 1-800-4-Raybestos.
The Geo Prism has a beautiful interior and comes with standard dual airbags, crush zones, reinforced door pillars, and a rugged steel safety cage, which helps explain why the interior still looks this beautiful, even when it's in this car. Call 1-800-GET-TO-KNOW and get to know the new Geo Prism.
Welcome back live to the 46th Annual NASCAR Winston Cup Awards Banquet from the Waldorf Astoria in New York. Now at 5 o'clock Eastern Time on New Year's Eve, December 31st, we will present the International Motorsports Hall of Fame inductions from Birmingham, Alabama. That's at 5 o'clock Eastern Time on December 31st. And one person who will be inducted into that Hall of Fame is sitting right here beside me, and I know you're looking forward to that.
You know, I'm kidding about all the money these guys are picking up down the stage, but this is not about money. This is a lot of people have voted and felt like I've done something to be in the Hall of Fame, and this will be absolutely the highlight of my racing career.
Well, you have done a lot, and we will talk more about that at the induction ceremonies. All right, let's go back down to the podium now. Bill Lovejoy is just finishing his comments as the championship team is being honored.
About themselves and their company, and at the same time contribute meaningfully to society. Also, because Dale and the Goodwrench team are considered celebrities, their appearance at specific promotional, media, or employee events helps us to attract a lot of attendees, which always makes for a successful event. Last year, I told you that 94 was going to be a good year for General Motors and Richard Childress Racing, and as it turns out, I was right on both counts. GM has introduced several new very successful products this year that have helped the corporation increase their calendar year vehicle sales through October more than 6%. Our parts and service business has had a record year in 1994. We've gained more customers, there's many of them in this house, and through our dealers, warehouse distributors, and mass merchandising efforts, we're also getting ready to introduce a new aftermarket performance spark plug. It's going to be called the AC Rapid Fire. It'll be introduced next spring. Speaking of spark plugs, I'd like to point out that 6 of the top 10 Winston Cup drivers used AC spark plugs in their race cars. I'd say that's a pretty good testimonial as to the quality and reliability of our plugs. In 1995, GM Service Parts will again be the proud sponsor of the Childress Chevrolet and Winston Cup, which will be wearing new Monte Carlo sheet metal and some new graphics touting the Goodwrench service name. In closing, I'd like to take this opportunity to wish everybody a happy season. We're going to see you again in 1995. I'm getting used to it, Dale. Thanks.
This last award goes to the champion car owner, and he's winning this for the 6th time. Congratulations to Richard Childress.
Well, I'm going to do like Morgan did tonight. I'm going to use some notes. Last year I forgot some pretty key people. First off, I'd like to start, you know, I'm just a small part of this thing. Those guys up there, if you got some lights or something to throw up there on this team, you know, I'm very proud of them. That's the whole heartbeat of that Chevrolet right up there, the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet. And all those pretty faces with them are the wives that support them too. Next, I'd like to thank my family. You know, we only won 4 races, so that means I was upset at a lot of other ones, and my wife had to put up with that. And my daughter Tina and her husband Mike. Tina, she puts out a lot of work at the shop. She does a lot of the bookkeeping for us, and she's really got involved with our team, and I'm very proud of that. Next, the car owner has to have sponsors, and you know, we've been very fortunate. You know, I've been here 6 times, and I've had Jim Goodwrench has been with us on all 6 of those occasions. We have Snap-on Tools, Western Steer, AC Spark Plugs, and Stetson this year was our sponsors. And without that, a car owner can't survive. Next is Chevrolet, Herb Fischel's group, the MTG group, Jim Perkins. Thank you very much for giving us the equipment and the support. We couldn't do it without you, buddy. And last but not least, the people that make this sport happen, R.J. Reynolds. Where's Wayne? He's done gone. Goodyear Tire and Unical. They've done a great job for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We'll let you go back and take a seat. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a nice round of applause for the championship team. Again, thank you very much, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please look to the screen as we meet the 1994 NASCAR Winston Cup champion.
No matter where you live on planet Earth, anyone can see the stars. Some of us merely just reach for them. But there are the select few who dare to climb aboard, strap in, and set out for a season where no man has gone before. Join us now for the 1994 stellar expedition of Starship Earnhardt. With 3 top 10 finishes in the first 4 races, this reigning star warrior locked in a top 3 points position, and that was just on impulse power. When he arrived in Darlington, Dale Earnhardt engaged a warp drive that propelled him to victory. He journeyed next to Bristol for an 8th career checkered flag and a command chair atop the NASCAR Winston Cup standard. Backed by his seasoned flying aces, a resourceful chief engineer, and a crafty navigator, this crew assaulted the galaxy's fastest superspeedway at Talladega and left all others in its wake. Cruising smooth and strong through the summer heat, Earnhardt logged these entries: Pocono and Michigan, 2nd. Daytona, 3rd. Loudon, 2nd. Dale then pioneered a new frontier with a 5th place finish in the maiden voyage at Indianapolis. On the horizon loomed a prize only one other great explorer has claimed: a 7th NASCAR Winston Cup championship. To reach it, a steady course was plotted, marked with the coordinates of 3rd at Watkins Glen and Bristol, vectoring to 2nd at Darlington, Dover, and Martinsville. With the ultimate prize within reach, Dale docked at the Rock and demonstrated why he's the best in stock car racing's universe. NASCAR Winston Cup Championship number 7. But Earnhardt wasn't finished. He engaged his Chevrolet machine, and his champion's celebration became a global victory party. The mission was a success, and Start-8 1994 will forever be known as the year of this conqueror's record-tying track. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 1994 and now 7-time NASCAR Winston Cup champion, driving the Richard Childress-owned GM Goodwrench Chevrolet from Kannapolis, North Carolina, Dale Earnhardt.
gentlemen, once again, please welcome to the stage the president of NASCAR, Mr. Bill France.
Dale, by escorting that little lady right over here, we've got some new rings, and you'll be pleased to know, Teresa, that Betty Jane found Tiffany's for you. So, compliments of NASCAR. Here's a new ring for you. It's a little different than the others you've had in the past, and we have a new one for our champion. So I'm going to let him put it on. And his new nickname is Going for 8. Thank you very much.
You want to thank Betty Jane?
Yeah. Thank you, Betty Jane. We have a good taste.
Billy, you know, without the France family and NASCAR and everything you folks do for us, we sure wouldn't be here tonight. And I appreciate it. At first, we came to New York after we won the 1980 championship. We came in 81 up here and brought this crowd up here, and it wasn't this bigger crowd. And Betty Jane, I appreciate you doing that. We've learned to have a good time in New York, and we sure look forward to it. Thank you.
Can I just say I'd like to accept this on behalf of all the support people, from our sponsors to our family, the crew. I know Dale and Richard and the team have mentioned all our sponsors, so I won't go into that, but that's what's really meaningful to us. So thank you for remembering us.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Worldwide, Mr. Jim Johnston.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I guess like Rusty said, now come the big bucks. Well, Dale, old habits are hard to break, aren't they? First Friday in December, we're at the Waldorf Astoria Grand Ballroom, NASCAR Winston Cup champion. Well, Dale Earnhardt and the championship and GM and Goodwrench just go together. And who could expect anything different? You put the season's best owner, the season's best engine builder, and the best crew all in one pit stall. Now there's a combination for success and the NASCAR Winston Cup championship. But what a performance by the driver. I guess there was really only one moment during the season when Dale's 7th title could have been in doubt. It was that spin out on the front stretch in Martinsville in September. Cars were whizzing past him, smoke was pouring off his tires, and he was headed for the wall. But just in the nick of time, Dale gathered it up, headed back toward the front of the pack. Now, Rusty picked up win number 8 that day, but Earnhardt's black Chevrolet was right on his bumper, and Dale held on to his lead in the points race. You know, that brief glimpse of a Sunday afternoon in Martinsville tells us a lot about our champion. Time and time again, he's held off challenges from everyone. Honestly, if you needed a driver to make up a one-lap deficit, who better to do it than Dale Earnhardt? So the fastest man in the bunch in 1994 was Dale Earnhardt. He was the fastest on the short track at Bristol, the intermediate track at Rockingham, and the super speedway at Talladega. Well, Dale, you might have him covered on the racetrack, but I'm sure it bothers you just a little bit that your car owner, Richard Childress, has a faster airplane than yours from coast to coast. So there's always challenges out there. Well, I'm sure quite a few of the gentlemen in this ballroom tonight are prepared to throw some more challenges at Dale next year. But this is the night to celebrate 1994, a year when once again the man they call the Intimidator was the toughest, the most tenacious, and most resolute driver on the track. And Earnhardt proved to be most gracious, too. It's not easy challenging a legend, but as the day drew closer to Dale's 7th championship equaling Richard Petty, the Intimidator showed just how humble he could be. Dale said, I quote, "I might have won as many Winston Cup titles, but Richard Petty will always be the king." You might say that without Richard Petty, this 7th championship by Dale wouldn't mean as much as it does. And without Richard Childress, Andy Petrie, Eddie Lanier, I'm sure Dale would agree he probably wouldn't be seated up here at the head table tonight. And there's another special group of individuals who also share in that accomplishment. It gives me great pleasure to ask them to stand once again. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1994 Winston Cup winning GM Goodwrench team, right up here. And the driver of the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet was a man on a mission this year. And Dale, I know your mission over the past few days was to prepare a special look at how you got to this point as Winston Cup champion 7 times. Dale?
Thanks, Jim. We usually get up here and Winston gives you everything and you see all this, you try to say thanks to everybody and you see all these tributes they pay to you and everything. And I know all you folks are out there probably tired of sitting, but you're going to have to say a little bit more. I sort of put together some photos, and it's sort of saying thanks to a lot of people that helped me get started and helped me get on the way. And if just bear with me for several minutes and take a look at this thing. It says thanks to pretty much all my car owners and a lot of people that really helped me get going. So take a look at this. It's great being from Kannapolis, North Carolina. It's the kind of hometown that everybody wishes they had. I'm proud to say that I was born to Ralph and Martha Earnhardt as the 3rd of 5 children. I think you all know my daddy as a racer, and because of him, it's all I ever wanted to be. My sisters Kay and Kathy and brothers Randy and Danny, they've all meant a lot to me through the years with the support they've always given. My mom is my biggest fan, and I'm glad she's had the chance to share a lot of the good times with me. I want to say thanks to all my family, friends, and business associates in the Carolinas and all over that have supported me in the good times and bad. People you may not have heard of that have really helped me in the past, people like Jimmy Otten at Piedmont Bank, who helped me with 90-day notes to keep me racing when my pockets were empty. Growing up, I thought we were rich because I was always around race cars. I got a lot of hands-on experience with my dad, how to work on cars and what it took to win. I love going to the races with my dad or working with racers like Haywood Plyler. I think I was Haywood's first crew chief. I would do the windshield and roll tires around the car, whatever. The early years were pretty exciting, pretty scary, and pretty unbelievable at times. David and Ray Oliver owned the first car I drove. A little bit embarrassed that it was pink, but I had a good time driving it. Next, I drove an old 56 Ford that James Miller owned. During the winter, James and the guys built a 63 Falcon. Can you believe we won the first race we ran it? My next car owners was Tommy and James and Frank Russell from Concord, North Carolina. I know we won over 26 races the first year, and I think 29 or more the second year. All my racing back then was on dirt. While I was still running the 6-cylinder class, Pete Hamilton, Tex Powell, Larry Rathgaff, and the Petties gave me a chance to test the Chrysler kit car at Concord, North Carolina. Boy, you talking about an experience getting out of a 6-cylinder into a V8. Now that was some fun. After my dad passed away, I was fortunate to have a good friend, Gray London, who bought me my first asphalt car. It was a 65 Chevelle from Harry Gant. 1974 was my first asphalt race, and I've got to thank Harry Gant and Tommy Houston for teaching me the difference between dirt and asphalt. That was some experience. Bobby Isaac also meant a lot to me in those days. He gave me some great advice. I got to thank Ned Jarrett, who was the promoter at Hickory Speedway in those days. He helped me with finding sponsors. One of my first sponsors was Dock Cycle Center of Kannapolis, which was owned by Marshall Brooks, a good friend of mine. And boy, was he a lot of fun. My first super speedway race came when Richard Howard of Charlotte Motor Speedway helped me get a ride with Neil Castles in the Sportsman 300 in October of 1974. I kept racing the short tracks in the Sportsman division with the help of friends like Gary Hargan. In May of 1975, I made my first Winston Cup start. I drove an Edna Grease Dodge in the World 600. Boy, what an experience. About that same time, Robert G. built a Camaro that we raced at Concord and some other short tracks around there. Boy, it was awesome. We won a lot of races with that car. I'm grateful to Robert for all the help he gave me, from driving his dirt car to winning Daytona, Charlotte, Rockingham, and his sportsman cars. Robert really meant a lot to me, as well as a lot of other people in racing. When times were tight, there was a lot of people that believed in me. I've got to thank people like Dick Hutchison and Eddie Pagan for, well, letting me charge too much on my parts bill that I finally paid off. In May of 1976, I drove a car owned by Walter Ballard at Charlotte for my second Winston Cup start. Then in November, I drove Johnny Ray's car at Atlanta with Buddy Parrott as my crew chief. Boy, I got in a heck of a wreck over in turn 3 with Dick Brooks and demolished the car. I got a break in 1978 thanks to Humpy Wheeler, who put me in a Will Cronkite car at Charlotte, the World 600. I ran 3 more races with Will before I met Rod Osterlund. Rod let me drive his sportsman car at Charlotte and his Winston Cup car at Atlanta, where I finished 4th in just my 9th Winston Cup start. With the support of Rod Osterlund and the whole Osterlund team, I was on my way. 1979 was a great year. I won my first Winston Cup race at Bristol, and I won the Rookie of the Year. We had a good crew with guys like Doug Richard, Jake Elder, Dave D'Ambrosio, and Lou LaRosa. It's hard to believe the next year we won our first Winston Cup championship. In 1981, I made the decision to change rides, and Junior Johnson was instrumental in helping me team up with Richard Childers. Richard and I both appreciate Junior's advice. Then in 1982, I had the opportunity to drive for a great man, Bud Moore. We won some races, but more importantly, Bud helped me settle down. I'll always be grateful to Bud. So many people helped me in my career for no other reason except they loved to race, and they believed in me. I really appreciate people like Mike Herman, Ronnie Sellers, Gene Dees, Mike Watkins, Woody Chavis, Robert G. Jr., Rick Brigman, Rick Boss, Don Drake, Mark McCullen, my brothers Randy and Danny, Tony Urey, and Donnie Reed. Of course, I've got to remember my old buddy Joe Whitlock. He taught me there's more to this sport than just driving a race car, and he kept me really amused with great stories about my dad. In 1984, I went back to drive for Richard Childers. He had put together a strong team that has a lot of the same people that make up the team today. The Childers team won 4 pit crew championships in a row from 1985 through 88 with guys like Kurt Shammerding, Will Lynn, David Smith, and Chocolate Myers. Together we won NASCAR Winston Cup championships in 86 and 87 in the Chevrolet Monte Carlos for Wrangler. Jim Goodrich came along in 1988, and with their support we've won 4 Winston Cup championships in the past 5 years in our Chevy Luminas. Through it all, Richard Childers has given me the best. The best crew, the best cars, and the best advice and friendship that any man could ask for. Throughout my career, I've made some great racing friends. Men I've learned from, men like David Pearson, Kel Yarborough, Beanie Parsons, Donnie and Bobby Allison, Richard Petty, and Dave Marcus. Of course, we've had some sad times. We've lost some great guys that I love to race with. Guys like Tim Richmond, Davey Allison, and Alan Kowicki. They were more than competitors to me. They were our friends. Then there's all the other characters I'm still racing with. Rusty, Ernie, Mark, Schrader, Kyle, Jeff Gordon, and all the other guys out there. You are the ones who make NASCAR Winston Cup racing so competitive. There are personal friends and fans who have encouraged me more than they'll ever know. I've got to make a special point to thank Bill France and the whole NASCAR family. They do more than most will ever know to give us a great organization to race with. Thanks to the folks at R.J. Reynolds, T. Wayne, Jim Johnson, and all the others through the years that have made this sport grow in a way that just is unbelievable. I've walked away with a lot of their checks, and I really appreciate Winston. Thanks also to the promoters, the press people, just everyone involved who has helped me become a 7-time champion. I know where the sport has come from, and I know without everybody's help, I wouldn't be where I am tonight. I'm fortunate to have a great family. My children, Carrie, Kelly, Dale Jr., and Taylor Nicole have given me a lot of joy. I want all of them to know how proud I am of them. I don't know how far we could have gotten without Teresa. She's been just a great wife and a friend to me. Of all the good things that have happened to me, Teresa has been the best. I couldn't close without a thanks to Neil. A man couldn't ask for a better friend. He was with me and the whole team this past season. He was in our thoughts and in our hearts. Nobody will ever know how much Neil Bonnet has helped me in my life. I just wish I had the chance to thank him. With the help of the good Lord and a lot of good people, I made the journey from the old dirt tracks around Kannapolis to the greatest superspeedways in the world. And tonight, while you may be honoring me as your 7-time champion, I'm here to say it's me, Dale Earnhardt, who honors you and thanks you.
It was a great video, Dale. I think we've all seen Dale's more introspective side tonight. But I can't believe the Intimidator admitted he drove a pink race car.
That's what made it mean.
That's right. And thanks to you for helping us see a little bit more of what makes the kind of man that becomes a 7-time Winston Cup champion. And now I know this is Dale's favorite part of the program coming up. Gives me great pleasure to present to you this check for $1,482,338. I'm going to throw in another $17,000 worth of champagne, so we make it an even $1.5 million. What do you say? Congratulations. Good luck next year as you battle once again for the Winston Cup Championship.
Thank you, Jim. Darrell, you understand why I was a little rough to start with. When I drove a pink car, you had to be a little rough. Tell you, R.J. Reynolds and Wayne and T. Wayne and all you folks, Jim Johnson, y'all are just great. You got us up here again. You got all this money here for all these drivers and car owners, and it's just unbelievable. Got to say again, it was great to have Ernie back. It was a tough year with losing him in the midst of a super battle for the championship, and I was having so much fun racing with him back and forth. Never thought we'd tie Richard Petty's record, or anyone would for that matter, and like I said, he's still the king. I really appreciate everything Richard's done for me in my career. He's really helped me a lot, and starting a new business together too. Richard and I are going to do a little souvenir stuff. So anyway, Goodwrench, you folks have been just tremendous. Lovejoy and Gar Smith, everybody in the Goodwrench organization with support with the team, support with all the dealers and all the promotions we do that have been just turned out great, and brought a lot of people into the stores. My store, my Chevy store, has been great. You know, Chevrolet's been a big part of my success and a big part of my life. Like I said before, I sell Chevrolets and I enjoy it, and I'm part of them. AC Spark Plugs, Snap-on Tools, you folks are really appreciated. Rick Howard and all the Western Steer Mom and Pops folks. Featherlight, Conrad, I forgot you last year. I had to win again, so I'll get up here and thank you for all the support you give us over the last several years with your great trailers and support on the road there. Stetson, those folks have been great for us. I got to thank a couple folks that through the years have really been a lot of support, and that's Sports Image and Joey Tillman and Hank Jones. The folks that go out there and sell those souvenirs every weekend and try to get those fans, make them fans happy, and that's tough. That race team has been super. You just keep doing it, guys. You just keep putting that race car out there, and I'll drive it hard as I can go. Appreciate everything. My mom and all my family, you've been great again, Teresa. We're here again, aren't we? The fans have been great, and I really appreciate all the fans' support. Everywhere we go, they just show it tremendously, and it's all race fans. They don't care whether you're Earnhardt, they still want your autograph, or if you're Rusty Wallace, they still want your autograph if they're Earnhardt fans, so it doesn't matter to them. So, they're race fans. Got to thank the Lord. He's been good to us. It's been tough in these last several years with the adversity we've been up against and all the loved ones we've lost, and I think he's helped us through it all. Got to thank Stevie Waltrip. Long about the middle of the season, the end of the season there, especially after Ernie got hurt, we were, all pulling together and helping each other. And I was qualifying bad, and qualified bad up at Dover, and I was walking by Daryl's car, and Stevie was writing some scripture and a verse on a piece of tape put on Daryl's dash. I said, "Where's mine?" She wrote me one, and we came up and ran second that race. So she wrote me one every race after that. I think that's what carried us through, and I really appreciate that, Stevie. And again, thanks to the Lord. I do appreciate all you folks for bearing with me through my video, though I enjoyed that, and hope you did. Thank you again, everybody. I know there's a lot of people I didn't thank and that helped me, and hopefully you'll help us from here on, but I do appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, as our champion takes his seat, let's all watch this special tribute to him featuring the music of the group Alabama.
I'm in a hurry to get things done, oh I rush until life's no fun. All I really gotta do is live and die, but I'm in a hurry and don't know why. Don't know why. I have to drive so fast, my car has nothing to prove. It's not you, but it'll do 0 to 60 in 5.2. Oh, I'm in a hurry to get things done. Oh, I rush until life's no fun. All I really gotta do is live and die, but I'm in a hurry and don't know why. Can't be late. I leave in plenty of time, shaking hands with the clock. I can't stop. I'm on a roll and I'm ready to rock. Oh, I'm in a hurry to get things done. Oh, I rush until life's no fun. All I really gotta do is live and die, but I'm in a hurry and don't know why. It says I'm running behind, I better pick up my pace. It's a race and there ain't no room for someone in second place. I'm in a hurry to get things done. I rush until life's no fun. All I really gotta do is live and die, but I'm in a hurry and don't know why. I'm in a hurry to get things done. Oh, I rush until life's no fun. All I really gotta do is live and die, but I'm in a hurry and don't know why. I'm in a hurry to get things done. Oh, I rush until life's no fun. All I really gotta do is live and die, but I'm in a hurry and don't know
Earnhardt, the 1994 NASCAR Winston Cup champion. The banquet may be over, but there's a lot more that we have for you when we return.
It's your chance to back the Bucs. This week, show your support at Tampa Stadium as the Bucs face the Washington Redskins. Sunday game time is 1 p.m. After the win in Minnesota featuring great defense and thrills a minute, the Bucs face the Redskins and want to keep the momentum rolling. Get your tickets at all Ticketmaster locations or the Bucs ticket office at Tampa Stadium. Try the Fun Zone. All seats just $20, and it's the best buy in the NFL. Your chance to back the Bucs. Get to Tampa Stadium Sunday.
They fled in terror, horrified by the very sight of it, the cable box. Run for your life! But one man did not run. He understood its awesome power.
The cable box. It can bring you HBO and Cinemax, plus pay-per-view. So don't delay. Call now. The cable box. Welcome it into your home.
Giving season. I got 8 grandkids. Last I counted. But this year I'm going to Burger King for these wonderful Disney glasses. There's that nice boy Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, magical Disney classics. The glasses are just 89 cents at Burger King with any Whopper value meal. So the kids get their favorite Disney glasses, and I eat every Whopper. It is better to give than to receive.
Burger King, get your burger's worth.
Never seen anyone do the things that you do. Never known anyone who could hold me like you. Hold me, hold me, hold me, hold me. You got this hold.
When there's something that needs to be held, there's no faster, easier way than with a quick grip bar clamp. One hand holds things securely yet gently.
There's one thing that a racing engine and a straight engine have in common. You want them both to last.
Haviland Formula 3 from Texaco.
To build a race engine that holds up, you have to use the best of everything. And Haviland does that job.
No other leading motor oil offers more complete protection to help your car run better, last longer. Good enough for Robert Yates. Haviland Formula 3. Why add just any motor oil? Add more life to your car.
The average Grand Prix lasts but a few hours, unless it's a Grand Prix started with a genuine Delco Freedom battery. Delco's rated tops for taking the pole position in starting power and excelling in reserve capacity. Helps keep your engine in the race for a longer, more reliable life.
Call 1-800-AC-DELCO. It's like buying time. Now through January 8th, get started with up to $14 cash back on Delco Freedom batteries.
And more congratulations for Dale Earnhardt down on the stage as the 46th NASCAR Winston Cup Awards ceremony has come to a conclusion. That's the trophy that Dale will add to his collection. He has 7 of them now, matching, of course, Richard Petty's 7 championships that he won in his career. Before we came on the air tonight, several awards were given away. We're going to show you some of those. Before we leave you here tonight, Eddie Lanier was the A.E. Clevite Engine Builder of the Year, picked up a check for $77,000.
Steve Mill, the Western Auto Mechanic of the Year, $25,000.
Andy Petrie picked up $25,000 from the Plastic Coat Company.
Ezra Ford the Ford Motor Company won the NASCAR Manufacturers Award.
Ricky Rudd accepted first place in the SDP Point Fund Awards, totaling $20,000.
Also, Ricky Rudd ran the most miles in 1994 and won the Sears Die Hard Racer, $50,000.
Earnhardt, $100,000 on behalf of Unocal 76 Oil and Gasoline Awards.
Ken Schrader, the DuPont Point Fund Awards, $50,000. Ken Schrader.
And Earnhardt picked up another $10,000 from Goodyear.
Excite Batteries, Ford team, got the Bush Pole Champion. We talked about that. $40,000, which he donated to the 600 Children's Charities.
And the Gatorade Circle of Champions, $20,000, also to Dale Earnhardt. Well, we've got a lot of things we want to do here in the next few minutes. There are several people downstairs with Kyle and Dr. Punch we want to talk with, so we're going to take a quick time out and be right back with more from New York City.
If you believe all motor oils are the same, why do you suppose one brand of motor oil is the #1 choice of America's top mechanics for use in their own cars and trucks? Which brand? Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline.
Familiar as blue jeans and Hollywood chase scenes, as timeless as pop flies, and you know who's blue eyes. It's always been true.
Just for you, a taste you'll find in no other beer at any price. Beechwood Aged Budweiser.
It's always been true.
When you want to play the hottest, fastest, most advanced fighting game ever, forget everything else and play Doom 2 on your PC. No other game gives you the incredible realism, the 360-degree smooth scrolling, and explosive action like Doom 2. It's easy to start playing, but it won't let you stop. Doom 2, it will consume you. Play solo, against a buddy by modem, or on a network in an awesome 4-way deathmatch. Doom 2, playing at a PC software store near you.
What do you get when you cross a high-quality conventional motor oil with an advanced formula synthetic? A revolutionary oil that protects better than regular oils, yet costs 40% less than full synthetics. Durablend from Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline.
I like Taurus. Taurus has won the national championship the last 2 years. Undefeated. They are the #1 selling car, foreign or domestic, in America. Can't top that. I'll tell you this, the deal is going to be right. You're not going to find a better deal anywhere than at your Southern Ford dealers.
See your Southern Ford dealer now for 2.9 financing or $750 cash back on every new 94 and 95 Taurus.
This holiday season, stuff more than their stockings with Applebee's gift certificates. No matter which denomination you choose, they're good for delicious Applebee's food and a warm, wonderful atmosphere that's sure to satisfy everyone on your gift list. Applebee's gift certificates. One size fills all.
America's favorite neighbor, Applebee's.
The 46th NASCAR Winston Cup Awards have been brought to you by Interstate Batteries. We check them before you buy them for fresh, dependable power, guaranteed. By Kellogg's. Kellogg's Corn Flakes is proud to sponsor NASCAR champion Terry Labonte. By Panasonic, just slightly ahead of our time. And by NASCAR 94 Year in Review at ESPN Home Video. To order, call 800-71-NASCAR.
The awards ceremony has just concluded here at the Waldorf Astoria. I'm Bob Jenkins along with Benny Parsons, but Dr. Jerry Punch is with the man of the hour. Jerry?
Indeed we are, Bob. We're down on the stage where the celebration does continue. We're with Dale Earnhardt, the 7-time Winston Cup champion, and the better half, of course, is wife Terry. Don't put that check away yet. I wanted to see that. Congratulations again, champ.
What a great night. It's just it's beautiful, and it was just all expectations leading up to the week, and you know, it's sinking in about winning 7 championships. It's finally sunk in, but I got to say thanks to Terry Linger and Ken Martin and all the folks at the Linger Group for helping me put that little home video together and put all the pictures together and the right things. And got to say thanks to all the folks that I didn't thank that helped me through my career, and they know who they are. It's been a tremendous career and season this year. You know, Susan Bonnet and you folks back there in Alabama, we're thinking about you. He's been with us the whole time. He's here tonight with us, and it's just really an emotional year. It's really a tough year at times, but to come out winning the championship and tying Richard Petty's record and having Ernie Irvin here at the banquet tonight was a really special deal, and he's back on the road to getting ready and getting a race car. So what can you say? It's just great. It's been great.
Now, I thought I knew you, but a pink race car?
You know why I was a little mean at the start of my career now. You drive a pink car, well, you know, they pick on you a little bit. So that was the first one. I drove it about 5 races, and fortunately I got into a yellow and black one after that.
Take a look at those rings now. That Dale and Teresa both have these beautiful rings that NASCAR made, and that is just gorgeous. My goodness. And Teresa's, boy, that is just beautiful.
We're married now.
It's colorful. Yeah, I'm married.
Married to NASCAR. You're married to the sport. Now, you shocked some people yesterday at a press conference when you stood up and said, I've won 7 championships, and now I'm going to retire. Everyone gasped and said, then you said from
Busch Grand National. So, you know, I'm gonna step aside in that division, and Jeff Green's going to drive the car, and we're working on a deal to put the series together and run for the championship. That's really what we want to do, and I'm working on that for Jeff right now. I think we got some good things going, and hopefully put him in a Winston Cup car at the end of the season for a couple of times. But right now, everything looks good for us. So, you know, if he may need some relief driving once in a while, I might get back in relief drive maybe, but I don't look to me to be in that car anymore, and I'm going to focus on that Winston Cup season. That 95 Monte Carlo is going to be great, and I feel like our chances to win another one next year is great, and like France says, we're going for 8.
Now, Teresa's nodding no. You said you may get back in the Busch car over there. So, but, you know, how much longer? You won 4 championships the past 5 years. How much longer will you drive?
Well, it's competitive, 4 out of 5, and who knows, we could do maybe 5 out of 6, and it's on and on. But you're feeling good, you're healthy in the car, and the team are really excited about it. I don't see no end to it in the next several years, and I'm excited about what we're doing and what's going on in our lives with the team and my life with Teresa. So we're just going to try to stay positive and go on from here.
The sign of a true champion, he never forgets where he came from. You saw Dale Earnhardt thanking everyone that helped him tonight. How about your rings, guys, Bob and Benny?
Well, we got wedding bands, but I don't think they're nearly as expensive as Dale's. Now, you obviously have a Winston Cup championship ring. You won the title once. Where is it?
Doesn't fit.
That figures. Still a lot more to come from New York City as we continue our live coverage tonight of the 46th NASCAR Winston Cup Banquet. Stay with us.
You got the winning color.
My vehicle is the most important part of my business. Without it, I can't work. I change the oil every 3,000 miles or so. Engine has been flawless, 170,000 plus.
Now with the revolutionary Penn-Star molecule, Pennzoil clings to moving parts, works like liquid ball bearings.
I've always used Pennzoil. It's a quality product. I'm going to drive this thing till it drops, and then I'll just park it on the side of the road.
Use a workmate on your next job. And you'll never want to work without it. Get the workmate, only from Black & Decker.
You know, an apple sitting around too long, it goes bad. It's the same thing with a new battery. It loses power waiting to be bought. That's why at Interstate, we're constantly checking our batteries to make sure they're fresh, so that you don't end up with a bad apple.
What, is this your idea of excitement? Let me tell you about exciting, okay? Driving around a racetrack at over 200 miles an hour, that's exciting. These are just flakes.
Well, what do you think?
These are really good. They're crispy, too.
Really?
Yeah, they're mighty good even with nothing on them. What are they?
Hey, Charlie.
Yeah.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes?
How could I be so dumb?
You got 500 miles to think about it.
Kellogg's is proud to sponsor NASCAR champion Terry Labonte.
Have you experienced the awesome power of the Panasonic Real 3DO system? Obviously. The intense realism of Panasonic Real 3DO. Apparently. Or the mind-blowing graphics of Panasonic Real 3DO. Definitely. Cool. The Real 3DO system from Panasonic.
Well, Dale Earnhardt is getting a lot of attention from the photographers as a 7-time champion. He's one of the 7-time champions. The other one is with his son, Kyle.
Yeah, I'm standing here. On this stage right now, there's 14 Winston Cup champions on this stage. Dale Earnhardt has 7. I'm standing here with the other guy that has 7. You know what he's gone through to get that 7. I mean, you know how tough it is. It's pretty incredible, isn't it?
Well, it's really incredible, but just like I told him a while ago, I said, guys, enjoy it. This is liable to be your last one, so that's what they're doing. They're really enjoying it tonight.
Well, let me ask you a question here. Earnhardt said something about you and him going into business together. What's this deal, you guys going into business?
Yeah, y'all got to watch this. We're doing a little campaigning now. Me and him's gone into business, and we're going to try to sell this 7 and 7 deal. So everybody start looking for all this merchandise we got going.
Am I involved in any of that anywhere?
You involved in, we might let you sell some of it for us.
How about some inheritance or something?
We'll probably have that.
Never mind. Earnhardt won't put me in his will either, Bob.
Well, he'll always be the king, as Dale said. Now, a couple of other awards that weren't handed out tonight that we want to make sure everybody knows about.
Yesterday afternoon at the press conference, Rodney Pickler, the truck driver for the Interstate Battery Team, picked up the Mayflower Truck Drivers Challenge. That was $15,000. Darrell Walter won the AP Parts Meet the Challenge Award. He gained the most position. 3 times this year he gained more positions than anyone else, and he picked up $30,000 yesterday.
And we reviewed most of the other winners during Speed Week before the banquet came on the air. Well, buddy, it's over for another year.
I just hate to see the season end.
So do I.
When I was driving and working on the cars, I wanted to see the season end because I was burned out. But working TV, we only work 2 days a week. It's not like we work 7 days a week, and I really hate to see the season end because I got 2 months. Terry's going to have to put up with me for 2 months. Baby, I'm sorry. I'll be home, and 2 months later, I'll go back on the road again.
That's right. But we will be back at Daytona in February, so please be with us for that. And don't forget December 31st when he's inducted into the International Motorsports Hall of Fame. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. Thanks to everybody who contributed to the telecast, and special congratulations to Dale Earnhardt on his championship. I'm Bob Jenkins for Benny Parsons, Kyle Petty, and Jerry Punch. So long, everyone. Have been run here will remember the name. Jeff Gordon, winner of the inaugural Brickyard 400.